Placer County neighbors for years. Save more on your energy bills. Call, text, or chat at 530-591-1055 to find out more, or go to dasmechanical.org. That's dasmechanical.org.
Okay, we are running a car drive right now to help veterans all across America. So if you have an old car, truck, or van, even a motorcycle or an RV sitting around, you can right now give it away and help the vets. They really need your help. And your car will help support the vets and their families. And guess what? You even get a tax donation. Plus, we'll even come and pick up your car for free. And all you've got to do is pick up your phone right now and make a free call. Now is the perfect time to do something good for the vets. Give back to the vets right now for all they've done for this country, and your old car can really help them. So call the Veterans Car Donation Program right now for free pickup of your vehicle. Help the vets and help your taxes at the same time. Call right now.
800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. That's 800-598-0539.
Call the good dudes at Gabrudes, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Homeowners, if you have an electrical project you need done, then you need the good dudes at Gabrudes. Family owned and operated for 30 years, Jay Gabrude and his team are the area's recognized experts for everything electrical, from the very basic like repairs, lighting upgrades, and whole house fans, to the biggies, panel replacements, EV stations, and backup generators. Gabrudes does it all and does it right the first time. They're actually the guys their competition recommends. Gabrudes, expert 5-star service and always transparent, honest prices and solutions. Say goodbye to your electrical issues. Visit Gabrudes.com or call 24/7 and speak with a real live person. Gabrudes, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabrudes, G-U-B-R-U-D-S. Gabrudes.com.
Are your lights flickering more than a disco ball? Tired of your office coffee maker and server room fighting over that one working outlet? Call the pros who keep the juice flowing. Elite Power Inc. Elite Power Inc. is the commercial and industrial electrical contractor who takes your power and lighting seriously so you don't have to. Elite Power Inc. handles everything from rewiring ancient office buildings to installing cutting-edge control panels in factories. Their IBEW 340 electricians have more certifications than your printer has error messages. And they promise not to judge your breaker panel's creative labeling. Get plugged in with Elite Power Inc., where sparks fly, but only in a good way. Professionally trained technicians, 24-hour electrical service, maintenance, and repair. Project estimating, the knowledge and skill for any commercial or industrial need. Call 916-739-1580. That's 916-739-1580. Or go to elitepower.com.
The voice of Sacramento sports is back.
Hear Grant Napear every weekday beginning at 3 right here. KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst, K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento. Hello, Sacramento. Sacktown. And welcome in
Grant Napear.
How you been? You know this guy.
It's your show.
So happy to hear you on the airwaves.
2+ decades on the radio with you.
Just the start of an incredible journey.
Now he's back on Fox Sports 104.7 FM and 890 AM.
3 to 6 every day, Fox Sports Sacramento.
The phone number?
916-779-0929.
His name? Grant Napear.
We are ready for a big football weekend that began last night with a dandy. Miami with a 15-play drive. Carson Beck runs it in with under 30 seconds left to put Miami on top after the extra point, 31-27. Ole Miss really got screwed at the end of the game on a Hail Mary. It was clearly pass interference. Now, it doesn't mean that Ole Miss would have won the game. It would have meant they would have had one additional play closer to the end zone. But you can't miss that call there. But what a drive by Miami to advance to the championship game next week. And then coming up this evening, the other semifinal game with Indiana and Oregon, and I think that is going to go down to the wire as well. So we've got that. The 49ers, Sunday in Philadelphia. The latest injury report. No Ricky Pearsall today. Trent Williams, limited. For the Philadelphia Eagles, Lane Johnson, limited. Their outstanding tackle. So we're going to find out who lines up and who doesn't. I just got to believe that Pearsall, if he is able to play, is not going to be able to play the whole game and may only be able to play a little. I'm just guessing that. You know, the Eagles are, what, a 4.5-point favorite? Speaking of who's the favorite and who's the dog, coming up in the final segment today, we will pick all of the games and your chance to win a gift certificate from Bennett's Restaurants worth $100, Sacramento, Roseville, and the West Side Grill in Rockland. But again, we talk about this game. Will the Eagles have Lane Johnson back? He missed most of the second half of the season. He's really good, okay? The Eagles' defense, not very good over the last several games against the run. Will the 49ers be able to exploit that aspect of the game? Will they be able to run the football against the Philadelphia Eagles? Will the 49ers defense be able to get off the field? They have not been able to get off the field as of late. I think this is going to be a really difficult game for the 49ers to win. I don't like this matchup. I think that they're going to have a really difficult time controlling the football because I think Philadelphia is going to control the clock. Now, if the Eagles don't have Lane Johnson and the 49ers don't have Trent Williams, I mean, that's kind of a wash there. I mean, it really is. Now, if Lane Johnson were to play and Trent Williams doesn't, or vice versa, which I really don't see that, I think you're going to see Jalen Hurts run more than he has this season. He has not really been running the ball that much. I think he is a real X factor in terms of his legs in this game. They've been amping up his rushing attempts towards the end of the season. And what about the tush push? 3rd and short, 4th and short. How much of that are we going to see from the Philadelphia Eagles? I want the ball first in this game if I'm Philadelphia. I mean, if I'm San Francisco. I do not want to have the Eagles control the clock, put points on the board, and have to play from behind in this game. Again, if you don't have Trent Williams, and even if you do have Trent Williams, I mean, are we to believe that he's going to be 100%? Are we to believe that he's really going to be able to play the full game? The 49ers, again, are coming off that brutal loss on Saturday. Is that completely out of their system? Do they bounce back from that? Do you think this is a low-scoring game? I kind of do. I kind of think it's a rather low-scoring game. Low 20s. Purdy, if he doesn't have Pearsall, clearly going to be throwing the ball to McCaffrey, short passes, Kittle, tight ends. You know, the one thing the Eagles do very well, and they've done it all year, and I was not aware of this until just recently, they are the best defense in the NFL at stopping the opposing tight ends. That's very impressive when you look at matchups, all right? Matchups. So that means Kittle, in particular, how effective can he be against a Philadelphia defense that has pretty much neutralized the opposition's tight ends? Again, I don't like this matchup. But I look at the 49ers before the game against the Seahawks. They were rolling. Their offense was playing at a very high level. Their offense, wow, they didn't even really need a punter for a couple of weeks, right? So what happened to that offense? Well, I'll tell you what happened. They ran into an excellent defense in Seattle, and they didn't have a couple of key players on the field. They didn't have Ricky Pearsall on the field. They didn't have Trent Williams on the field. Kittle was not 100%. You know, the Eagles' defense is not as good as Seattle's defense. It's good. It's not that good. Carter was back on the field today in practice for Philadelphia. He's essential in the middle for their run defense. So if you're looking at this from Philadelphia's perspective, that's really good news. Home, their starters did not play last week, so they're more fresh. That is without a doubt the case. I don't think the 49ers win this game unless they get a defensive touchdown or a special teams touchdown. I think that's the only way they're going to win this game. I just don't like this matchup. Sorry. I don't like this matchup. What do you think? 916-779-0929. Then, of course, you got the Rams and the Panthers. You know, when you look at this game, you would think, okay, there's no way that the Rams don't win this game. A large point spread. The Rams are 12-5. Carolina is 8-9. But, again, a 10.5-point spread. What happened earlier in the season when these teams played? Right? What happened? I'll tell you what happened. It was 31-28. Carolina. That's what happened. So don't think that Carolina can't win the game. They played earlier in the year, and they did win the game. And yes, I know they have a losing record of 8-9. And yes, I know that they're double-digit dogs. But it is the NFL. Clearly, you got an advantage of quarterback with Stafford over Bryce Young. Not that Young was terrible, but, I mean, Stafford is maybe the MVP of the league. You know, a real key in this game, like all games in the National Football League, who lines up at the skill positions, who's healthy, who's not healthy. We talk about it every week in the NFL. Look at what happened on Saturday night for San Francisco. They were limited offensively due to their injuries. When you look at the Rams, before the injury, Stafford and Devontae Adams were as good as any pass combination in the NFL. Devontae Adams back. So that's a big addition for the Rams. So we're going to talk about all of the NFL playoffs, all of the games. We will go over all of the games with our picks a little bit later in the show. We want to talk a lot of football. We want to talk about the Oregon-Indiana game tonight. Kings tonight. In San Francisco, taking on the Warriors. Other NBA news. Shocking news. Shocking that Anthony Davis of the Dallas Mavericks has ligament damage in his left hand. He may need surgery, and if he does, he's going to be out probably for the rest of the year. Shocking that Anthony Davis is hurt. Now, according to these sources that have talked about this, if they go with a non-surgical option, he would miss at least 6 weeks. Say goodbye to the Dallas Mavericks. They are now out of the top 10 in terms of their forecast for this year. Bye-bye, Dallas. The question is, how many games are they going to lose the rest of the way? The Memphis Grizzlies reportedly saying John Morant is available. I don't know why anyone would want John Morant. I wouldn't want Morant. I know he's only 26. His contract runs through 27-28. He is eligible, by the way, this summer to sign a big 3-year extension. He has been shooting horribly from three. See, that's the other aspect. His three-point shooting has gotten worse, it seems like, every year. This year, he's shooting 20.8% from three. I don't want a point guard that can't shoot. You have one of those right now. He is averaging 19 points. He is averaging 7.5 assists. But he's shooting very low from the field at 40% and from three under 21%. Oh, yeah, and by the way, he's only played in 18 games this season. I would not want Morant on my team. I wouldn't want Trae Young on my team. I just don't want him. Not a guy that makes sense for me. And when I hear his name and the Sacramento Kings in the same sentence, I cringe. I don't think that the Kings and Morant are even seriously considering a deal. I don't even think it's an option. The Kings, obviously have draft capital. They have the flexibility from the cap sense to get a deal done. But that doesn't make any sense for Sacramento. Doesn't make any sense. Who could get Morant? Would a team like Miami be good for Morant? I don't think John Morant living in South Florida on South Beach would be really good for his personality. That's my own opinion. Okay? Would Eric Spoelstra be good for Morant? Probably. Would Pat Riley be good? Maybe. I don't know. That would be very, very risky if you are the Miami Heat. What do we keep hearing about Milwaukee? That they're looking to make big changes again before the deadline. What names do we keep hearing from Milwaukee that are available? We keep hearing the names of Kyle Kuzma, right? We keep hearing the names of Porter. What do you think? What about a Detroit? No, doesn't make sense to me. I know one thing, February 5th's not that far off. What are we on, the 9th? Less than a month. Less than a month. But again, would you want John Morant on your team? I wouldn't want John Morant anywhere near my team. I wouldn't even pick up the phone if the Memphis Grizzlies were calling me about Morant. I would make it go to the answering machine like the old days. Forget about voicemail. I'd have the old system where you'd have to actually pick up the phone with an answering machine and a beep at the end of it. That's how I would handle it if Memphis called me. I wouldn't even use my cell phone. I would have a hard line with a real old-fashioned answering machine with the beep. Please leave your message at the beep. That would be my response to the Memphis Grizzlies. Go away. I'm not interested. Get lost. Go call somebody else. So back to the action tonight. Kings and Warriors, 8-29. The Warriors are hovering around 500. They're 20-18, soon to go to 21-18. The Rockets are in Portland. Milwaukee is in LA to take on the Lakers. New York's in Phoenix. Hawks and Nuggets from Denver. The Grizzlies home against the Thunder, who all of a sudden are 31-7. Not that that's bad or anything, but I mean, I'm just saying those numbers keep changing a little bit. Clippers and Nets from Brooklyn. Boy, this should be a dandy. The 8-31 Pelicans at the 10-26 Wizards. By the way, the Trae Young deal to Washington, it is believed that Young won't even play this year. 76ers are in Orlando and Toronto and Boston. That should be a pretty good game. Toronto at 23-15 and the Boston Celtics at 23-13. So that's your NBA scoreboard tonight. Okay? Does Ja pass the Folsom Mike test? 25 years old and under only. Nope, he's 26. No washed up stars. He's borderline washed. Definitely on the downward slide. I don't disagree with that. I do disagree about 25 and under only. I do disagree with that. I'm okay if you change that number to maybe 27. 25, I don't know. Give me your thoughts. 916-779-0929. Village Financial Group. Love talking about them each and every day. And Spencer, the broker owner who I've known since the turn of the century. He's great at what he does. When it comes to real estate, he and his family-owned business will take care of you. Buying a home, selling a home in 2026, need a home equity line of credit? Keep in mind that Spence is a very creative financing specialist, and he has access to private money. Call or text Spence at 916-805-4868. That's 916-805-4868. And if you go online to vfgloans.com, you'll find thousands of properties available for purchase. It makes sense to call Spence at 916-805-4868. That's 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest. We're rolling here on a Friday. Get you ready for the weekend. Give me a call, 916-779-0929. Text me on the same number right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
We are You've been saying you're going to pay better attention to your home's honeydews. Check one off your list right now by calling Gabrude Services to schedule a 12-point inspection of your home's electrical system. The safe rule of thumb is every 5 years for an inspection. If it's been 5 years or more, call Gabrude's now. A qualified technician will provide a thorough inspection of the electrical system to ensure it's safe or alert you to potential problems. At Gabrude's, electrical work is all we do. We are the area's recognized experts for anything electrical, and our number one priority is ensuring your home and family are safe. You've been saying you'll pay better attention to your home. Stop saying it. Make the call to Gabrude's. Talk with a real person and schedule your 12-point inspection today. Gabrude's, locally owned for more than 30 years. Gubruds.
Call the good dudes at Gabruds. Gubruds. Gabruds.com.
If you can't remember the last time you had your home heating system inspected, it's probably time. Right now, Sierra Pacific Home and Comfort is offering a $79 complete heating and air system inspection. We'll check your entire system, clean it up, and make sure it's running perfectly. Call or visit us online today and schedule your $79 winter system inspection at SierraPacificHome.com.
Sierra Pacific Solar Heating and Air, the guys in the big red trucks.
Decisions determine results. So which path do I want to take? Help people in need or stand on the sidelines watching? Worry about how to pay for school or have my education paid for? Push myself and learn new skills or stay the same? My decision is to serve part-time with the Army National Guard, and my results will be life-changing. What will you decide? Go to NationalGuard.com to learn more about part-time service.
Sponsored by the California Army National Guard. Aired by the California Broadcasters.
Wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest. Uh-oh. Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Hello, Friday. I've been waiting for you for a long time. You just saved me. When my life came crumbling down. And I know you're gonna leave.
Yeah, Friday, get you ready for the weekend. College football Who do you like tonight? Indiana and Oregon, a rematch from earlier in the year where the Hoosiers beat Oregon on their home field. The winner will play Miami, which means that, unfortunately, we are all going to be subject to more of Michael Irvin on the sidelines. Oh, my God. Please. Please. Rhino, it drives me crazy. We talk about this all the time. Please. Just drives me crazy.
It's going to be Michael Irvin week in Miami.
Oh, gosh. That's terrible, huh?
Might hold his own parade.
Oh. Gosh.
Without question, though, ESPN keeps putting him on the broadcast, Nate.
I know. From our YouTube channel, Fox Sports Sacramento, a question: why not Morant for the Kings? Really? So my question is, do the Kings just have their pick of the litter when it comes to stars, all-stars? Are they clamoring to get to Sacramento? No, they're not. No, they don't have their pick of the litter. Why would you want a player who has been nothing but a major headache for a franchise, which is exactly what he's been, has made his teammates not want to play there, okay, such as Desmond Bane, whose numbers have been declining, whose three-point shooting has been just downright awful? Why would you want that player for? Why? I wouldn't want John Morant anywhere near my team. Said from the 530. Grant, I agree. No Morant, especially with Doug Christie as coach. If we had a coach like Malone or Spoelstra or somebody like that, maybe. But we are one of the teams, unfortunately, that sometimes needs to take chances on some of these players because we can't lure better, higher character players. Let me explain something to you about players and maybe Michael Malone or Eric Spoelstra. And I just said Eric Spoelstra in the last segment. My experience with troubled players like John Morant, players like DeMarcus Cousins, it doesn't matter who the coach is, okay? It makes no difference. They are going to do what they want to do. They are where they are because of their individuality, their personality, their lack of professionalism. We can go on and on. It has nothing to do with the coach, okay? He's had different coaches in Memphis, and he has the same problem. So it's not coaches. The biggest myth, the biggest misconception that fans have is the effect that coaches have or don't have on troubled players. Okay, the problem is not the coach. The problem is the player. Now, could you find an exception? Yes. In an isolated incident? Yes. But when there is a history of more than one coach, and it's the same pattern of behavior, it's not the coach, it's the player. If it's a long history with one coach and one player, that's different. But when you start talking about multiple coaches and the same player and the same problems, folks, let me share a little secret with you. It ain't coaching. It's the player. Every single time. Not 90% of the time, not 95% of the time, 100% of the time. It's the player. And fans think that, well, a change of scenery, oh, they just need this coach or that coach. No. No. No, no, no. It's the player. Plain and simple. You have to understand that. That's the reality of the situation. I was going to ask this question too, Ryan. Do I know why the Yahoo Pick'em League isn't allowing picks during the playoffs?
Yeah, I set it up that way.
Okay, good. If the league is over, I still finished in front of Grant. Well, good for you, Peter. Do you win anything for finishing ahead of me?
Want a participation trophy?
That's
Peter?
what I was going to say. Maybe a participation trophy.
A ribbon?
Wow.
I actually have a place for John Morant. What about Minnesota?
Well, how many basketballs are they throwing out there? So you have Anthony Edwards.
Uh-huh.
First of all, what would you have to give up if you're Minnesota? What are we talking about in return?
Julius Randle?
No, I wouldn't do that.
I would.
I wouldn't. I would not. I wouldn't want Morant on. I don't like Morant. I don't want him anywhere near my team. I don't like him as a professional basketball player. I think he is, lack of a better term, a cancerous individual on a team, and I wouldn't want that individual in my locker room. I wouldn't want him in my franchise. I don't care how talented he is. I don't really care about any of that stuff. I wouldn't want him on my team.
You just laid out the impact of coaches on players like that. What would the impact be if you put John Morant in that 2001 locker room with those guys?
The Kings locker room?
Yes. Could they fix it?
Players have a much bigger impact on a troubled player than a coach would. With Vlade Divac on the team, it would at least be a fighting chance to make it work. How's that for you?
Yeah, I think that's the big difference. Do you have a standard? Do you have a cultured locker room?
Well, I will tell you, without Vlade Divac, Chris Webber would have never worked in Sacramento. It would have been a disaster, and I know because I lived it every day and I saw it every day.
Fair enough. So
I mean, yes, there is part of that, but the Minnesota Timberwolves don't have the Kings locker room of 2001.
Not many teams have ever had that
That's
locker
correct.
room.
That's correct.
You're talking about
and a coach that pretty much let the players do what they want as long as they showed up and were ready to play. He didn't really discipline his players. He didn't really have strict rules for his players. It was more of you're a professional. I'm a basketball coach. I expect you to be a professional. You are getting paid to play. And when the game starts, you better be ready to play.
I think it's interesting, too, when we think about John Morant seeing the compensation that Washington was able to get Trae Young for. It was just a player swap, no picks attached.
No draft picks. Yeah.
And I wonder if that will have any effect on the trade deadline market, because it seems like a lot of the risk is associated with these big contracts, especially those with multiple years still on them. It feels like taking on that contract negates teams willing to also send a pick out.
Look at the Luka trade. Same thing.
Great point.
I mean, so yeah, I think there is a lot of truth to that. You know, first of all, if you're looking at the February 5th trade deadline from Sacramento's perspective, okay? By the way, I'm not one that would make Nick Clifford untouchable, but I don't think you would get a lot for him. But he's not an untouchable player, in my opinion. Keegan Murray, forget about what his contract is. He would not. I don't know why people consider him untouchable. I would trade Keegan Murray in a New York second if I could, and I thought it would make my team better. He's not untradeable. He's not untouchable. The Kings aren't good enough where they have I wouldn't trade. I'll tell you, don't laugh when I say this. The only player I would not trade right now is Max Reno. I love him. I love his upside. I'm trying to project where he can be. I wouldn't trade him. There's not any other player on the team that I would say that about right now today. And I'm saying that based on his youth, his upside, the vision that I have for him in terms of the rungs on the ladder of where he is now and where I think he can be, not based on, I don't know, like I would say about Nick Clifford, based on what I've already seen. He now has a sample size, for me, not maybe you, his sample size now is large enough. I'll make the equation this way, if I may, and switch to the team that I root for in the NFL. He has a sample size like Jackson Dart, where
Mhm.
I'm confident as a fan of the Giants to say, I've got my quarterback of the future, that I'm not really worried about that position anymore. I think Max is a player that I'm not worried about in terms of being a really good NBA player. I'm not saying MVP. I'm not even saying all-star. I'm just saying somebody that's going to be a really big piece of this foundation moving forward.
I do not disagree with any of that, and I would take it a step further from a roster construction and cap point. What else are you going to get at the $3 million price point?
Yep.
Ultimately going up to $5 million that's going to be better than Max right now. You just don't have
Nobody.
enough room to play with that or make that risk.
Very, very true. Very true. I think the players that I would be surprised if Malik Monk is on the roster past February 5th. I just don't see that happening. I don't know if Keon Ellis is going to be gone, but I would wager that he would be. And if not, I think it is highly unlikely he'll be on the team past this year. And if I feel that, then I am going to try to get something for him before the deadline on the 5th. Agree or disagree?
100% agree. I laid out my case, my belief yesterday of why I think he's been getting minutes over Malik in this fashion. And I think all indications are if you had to put your money on one player that will not be here come February 6th, it's 100% Keon Ellis in my books. I'm betting the house. And if it's not, you're looking at Scott Perry and shaking your head. And that means that's not because I don't love Keon. I really like Keon. He's the picture perfect example of development within a system.
Yep.
So I don't want to see him go, but he's not staying. If he was staying, you would have extended him this summer.
All right, I'm going to make another prediction. I predict that not only will he be gone, I'm on board with you, that next year or even this year in the months of March, April, maybe May or June, we're going to be talking about there's another player that the Kings had, such as when we watched the Celtics play or watch the Miami Heat play or watch other teams play, where the Kings had young players that they were developing and gave up on too soon, that go to other franchises, excel, and become very good quality NBA players. Queta, Mitchell, right? Keon Ellis will be in the same sentence as these other players. That's what I predict.
With the exception of Tyrese Halliburton, 'cause it's a different, it's a completely different level. Keon Ellis will be the one that you point to on that list because he is a piece that fits in with 29 other teams in this NBA.
Which, once again, because I agree with you, shows the dysfunction and the lack of vision by the current Sacramento Kings organization, whether it's your general manager, whether it's your owner, or whether it is your head coach. Okay? It is a lack of vision, in my opinion, and a total scratch your head decision when it comes to personnel matters. It doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't.
I would say it's common sense. Now, I can't say it's common sense because I don't know the conversation behind the scene between Scott Perry and Keon's agent that happened sometime this summer, I'm sure. If there's an indication he's not coming back, sure, then you pick up the option and you keep him for the $2 million here. But outside of that, like if Keon was in play to be in Sacramento, to me, it's negligence not making him a priority because, again,
it's a joke.
He fits with every team in the NBA. Go pull any person out of this draft, and Keon Ellis works with them.
Again, I've been saying this over and over and over again since training camp. This situation does not make sense in any way, shape, or form for the Sacramento Kings this year. I hope I have a change of tune in the future, but right now, I don't see it. Hey, give me a call, text message. We can talk football, basketball, college football playoffs, 916-779-0929. This is the Grant Napear Show on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Tired of the same old routine? Need a place where the beer flows and the good times roll? Then head to Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, 1833 Fulton Avenue. Family owned and operated, so you know you'll feel right at home. Catch all your favorite games on 18 big screens while enjoying amazing food. And with 28 beers on tap, you're sure to find something you love. And don't miss everyday happy hour from 3 to 7 and again from 10 till close. Looking for more than just the game? Trivia Tuesday starts at 7 p.m. And there's Mario Kart and bingo nights for even more fun, too. There's always a blast happening at Fieldhouse. Whether you're looking for a place to watch the game, grab a bite with the family, or just unwind with friends, Fieldhouse is the place to be. Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, 1833 Fulton Avenue. Bring it to the house.
Need new tires or brakes? See the experts at Expert Tires. Save big at Expert Tires and Brakes on Auburn Boulevard, Sacramento. Expert Tires and Brakes guarantees fast, guaranteed service at the best prices in the area. Check out their special offers on sets of Ford Bridgestone and Firestone tires. Need new brakes? Expert Tires and Brakes is the place to go. Expert Tires and Brakes, 5810 Auburn Boulevard. The best in tires and brakes.
Call the good dudes at Gabrudes, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Homeowners, if you have an electrical project you need done, then you need the good dudes at Gabrudes. Family owned and operated for 30 years, Jay Gabrude and his team are the area's recognized experts for everything electrical, from the very basic like repairs, lighting upgrades, and whole house fans, to the biggies, panel replacements, EV stations, and backup generators. Gabrudes does it all and does it right the first time. They're actually the guys their competition recommends. Gabrudes, expert, 5-star service, and always transparent, honest prices and solutions. Say goodbye to your electrical issues. Visit Gabrudes.com or call 24/7 and speak with a real live person. Gabrudes, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabrudes, G-U-B-R-U-D-S, Gabrudes.com.
Okay, we are running a car drive right now to help veterans all across America. So if you have an old car, truck, or van, even a motorcycle or an RV sitting around, you can right now give it away and help the vets. They really need your help. And your car will help support the vets and their families. And guess what? You even get a tax donation. Plus, we'll even come and pick up your car for free. And all you've got to do is pick up your phone right now and make a free call. Now is the perfect time to do something good for the vets. Give back to the vets right now for all they've done for this country. And your old car can really help them. So call the Veterans Car Donation Program right now for free pickup of your vehicle. Help the vets and help your taxes at the same time. Call right now.
800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. That's 800-598-0539.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
916-779-0929. We get to some phone calls. Javier, welcome to the show. Hello, Javier.
How you doing today, Mr. Napier?
Good, Javier. Go ahead.
Just the inclination of the rumors, quote unquote, out there, the Kings sending Malik Monk to the Timberwolves for Rob Dillingham and Mike Conley, maybe a pick or a 3-team deal of, the Warriors entertaining, Kuminga, Kuzma to pick to the Kings, and they get Bobby Portis and Gary Trent / Gary Harris, and the Bucks get Levine and Eubanks, and the Kings are, the fans that is, are, oh yeah, that's what we need. I don't understand how any confidence can be had, and what does it matter if we acquire these younger players that are on the ascent? Because from what we saw this year, it isn't as if they're going to be managed correctly. Their minutes aren't going to be correlated. I just feel as if, and I think truly rather that whether this is a stretch or not, we get Jonathan Kuminga, they're going to start giving Dario Saric minutes, or they're going to start giving Doug McDermott more minutes, because all they've shown is, prime example what you just stated, they've thrown Keon Ellis figuratively into the trash can. This was his prime opportunity to show us, let him be the guy that's going to get $15 million post February 6th, or the deadline of when he can sign that extension, 4 years for $60 million, et cetera, because he's exactly what they said they look for in a player. A great 94-foot defensive player that covers all 94 feet, good three-point shot, good defensive presence, whether they're playing man coverage or zone coverage, and can shoot the long ball and plays with effort, energy, and all those 6 nonsense pillars they talk about that don't even test anything. What Kings fans have any hope for in these players coming through via trade, that's going to make – do you think John Kuminga is upset now? Imagine when he doesn't make sense of what rotations he's not getting or liking when it comes to the Kings. And I'd love to see some younger players coming here. But is it even going to make any sense when they get here and they're saying, well, what is this? It's just I feel like we're in the twilight zone.
I'll answer it this way. I don't pay attention to any trade rumors because 99% of them never happen. So I'm not one that pays attention to trade rumors. That's number one. And I'm going to let you go, and I appreciate the phone call because of the background noise there. Thank you for the call, Javier. Have a great weekend. Number two, I was with the Sacramento Kings for 32 years. So I went through different eras, different ownership, different general managers, many different coaches. All right. I experienced a lot. I saw a lot. I do not remember a more inexplicable, messed up, totally makes no sense, have completely taken a very good player and basically taken that very good player and have flushed him down the toilet. And to me, that's what the Sacramento Kings have done with Malik Monk. I've been very consistent about this. It doesn't make sense to me. I think Malik has been a consummate professional through the whole thing, which began in the summer. He's the one player, or one of the players, that actually wanted to be in Sacramento, invested in Sacramento, spoke highly about being here, and the Kings have taken one of their better players, that's not debatable, and for whatever reason, they have flushed him down the toilet. It's as bad as anything I've seen since I've been in Sacramento. And I'm not exaggerating. Tim in Sacramento. Hi, Tim.
Happy Friday, Grant. How we doing?
Good, Tim. Thanks for calling.
Hey, I just was listening to you just now talk about just the Keegan Murray and his trade being not. We need to give him up. I think this is ridiculous. The fact that he got the keys to the team pretty much here in the last, let's say, 20 games or so. In the last 10, I think he's averaged like 12 points. What do you have? 2-game span where I think it was Detroit where he scored 2 points total. Come on. Keegan Murray should be at least the first person out the door now, actually. That's what I'm thinking. I think he needs to go. Absolutely.
Well, I don't know if I would say he needs to be the first person out the door. I would say this. In my opinion, the Kings and Kings fans overvalue Keegan Murray. I think he's a good player, but I think as Jerry Reynolds said, he needs to be your 4th or 5th best player. And to me, Keegan Murray is like a lot of players that come through the Sacramento system. Fans and media tend to overvalue their players, maybe more so than a lot of other franchises. I think he's a good player. Defensively, he's very good, but he is very limited offensively, in my opinion, in terms of his consistency. And in his 4th year, although this is kind of a wasted season with his injuries, I didn't see the improvement that I wanted to see. Go ahead.
Absolutely. And when you say we overvalue, what do you think undervalue in situations like Tyrese Halliburton, for instance?
I don't think the Kings undervalued Tyrese Halliburton because they traded him and got a 2-time All-Star in return.
Correct.
I think that their assessment was that De'Aaron Fox was their man, De'Aaron Fox was their star, De'Aaron Fox was their motor in the engine, and that the Halliburton-Fox combination would not work, which was exactly why Luka Doncic was not taken by Sacramento, because they felt that wouldn't work either, and they invested in Fox and thought that he was the better option. Obviously, they were wrong, but that's why they did it. So I don't think they undervalued Tyrese. Now, do I think they would have expected him to be an MVP-type candidate? Probably not, but most people in the Kings organization at the time felt that he would have been and could have been a legitimate all-star.
Love it, Grant. Appreciate it. I'll hang up and listen now. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Have a good weekend. Ryan, I'm very serious when I say that, without any disrespect to the fans or others in the community. It has been my experience doing talk radio for as long as I have in this city and talking with the fans and getting to really know the pulse of the organization and looking at chat rooms and things of that nature. Kings fans have always overvalued their players when they evaluate them. Always.
Well, it's easy to do when you've never had that player, right?
Correct. Yep. Correct. But even Keegan Murray, in my opinion, is overvalued by many in Sacramento. I'm a fan of Keegan, so I'm very transparent about that. I like him as a player, but I think he's overvalued. I think he's overrated among a lot of people. Now, there are a lot of people like Tim that are not Keegan Murray fans, that are not on board with Keegan. There's a wide range of opinion in Sacramento over Murray.
Oh, yeah. It varies. And you've got Tim, then you've got those that realize and understand what he does on the defensive end that nobody else on the Kings can do, guarding 1 through 5. And then you've got those that are very high on him. I land somewhere in the middle because defense aside, I don't think offensively the Kings have ever done Keegan any favors. And that starts off with his rookie year. They didn't do anything more with him than put him in the corner.
See, I disagree with that in this sense. Not totally. Some of what you're saying, I disagree. Open shots are open shots, and I don't really care whether there's an offense being run for you or not. You've got to make your shots, and he misses an inordinate amount of open shots, and that bothers me.
Fair. But I would throw a caveat in that it's an ISO offense where you will touch the ball maybe 1 every 5 possessions, and usually that one time you touch it, you're open.
Yeah. Okay.
That
Fair
doesn't
enough.
make the open shot easier. That's all I'm going to say.
916-779-0929. From the 209, thoughts about San Jose Sharks' Macklin Celebrini. What he's doing at only 19 should be talked about more. Excited to see him play for Team Canada in the Winter Olympics. He's been great. When you say he should be talked about more, are you talking about on this show or in general? Because I am a huge NHL fan. I do see him being talked about a lot. As far as this show goes, if people were to call up and ask me and wanted to talk about it, I would talk about it. But again, in having what I think is a really good pulse on the fans of this community and the surrounding areas, I don't get a lot of hockey talk, and I understand why. I'm also a big hockey fan, and I am the one individual in the market that you could probably talk hockey with and have a great conversation because I do follow it closely. But I also don't let my personal bias and my personal interest in sports sway what I talk about on this show. I've been very clear about me and hosting this show. This is not my show. This is our show. It's your show. It's my show, which means it is our show. And we talk about what, generally speaking, I would say your interests are above my interest. I'm obviously going to talk NFL. I'm going to talk NBA. I'm going to be heavy on the Sacramento Kings. That goes without saying. I don't talk a lot of baseball. Why don't I talk a lot of baseball? Well, because I don't get a lot of calls on baseball. I don't talk a lot of hockey. Well, why don't you talk a lot of hockey? Well, I don't get a lot of text messages. I don't get a lot of calls on hockey. That's why. All right. From the 916, Keegan can guard 1 through 5. What centers is he guarding? I think that's a stretch and a testament to Grant's point of Kings fans overvaluing players. So he says
you're
Keegan
wrong.
can guard 1 through 5.
You're
So go ahead,
absolutely
Ryan.
wrong. You are spot wrong. Guarding 1 through 5 does not mean you start on the center. It switches, it's picks, being able to step out, help from behind. Keegan, I could put together a 10-minute highlight reel of him doing that over the past
I don't disagree.
2 years. Stop.
Yeah, that's defensively. We don't really have to debate Keegan Murray's effectiveness. He's really good defensively, and that's not debatable. Okay, like we can't. His issue is, and I think it's very fair, and I don't think you can ignore it. He is too inconsistent offensively. I look at his offense, and you never know what you're going to get from game to game. And that's the biggest issue I have with Keegan. There are a lot of other players in the NBA where I know what they're going to give me every single game because they're consistent. I don't know what Keegan's going to give me when he's healthy. I don't know if he's going to score 30 or he's going to score 6. I don't know if he's going to take 4 shots or he's going to take 15 shots. I don't know if he's going to take, 7 threes and make 1 or take 7 threes and make 5. There is no consistency to his offensive game. And I've been very open with Ryan, and we can discuss this. Ryan believes that a lot of that is the lack of creativity offensively and lack of a offense that runs plays for Keegan. And I am more into, that part of that is true. But as an NBA player, you have to find ways to score, number one. And number two, when you're open, make your shots. So there's a little bit of both there. There's a little bit of both.
There is. And I appreciate you pointing that out. I would say that when you're running, and it's not just for Keegan, when you're running a structured offense, it makes it easier for guys to find those areas because the defense is not paying attention to just one area of the court.
Fair enough. We can talk about all of this. The 49ers, the Eagles. What do you think? You think the Niners have a 50-50 chance of going into Philly? It's not like Philly had a great year. Philly's not the team that they were last year, but Jalen Hurts, Saquon, Brown, Goddard, a team that is built for the playoffs. Will they be able, the 49ers, to go in there and steal, because I think that's what it would be, this game on the heels of a bitterly disappointing finish to the regular season where they didn't even score a touchdown, although they had some key players out. I can't imagine Pearsall all of a sudden just being fine in 48 hours. And what about Trent Williams? He is so key to what the 49ers do. 1 hour down, 2 hours left. Grant Napear, Fox Sports Sacramento.
Looking for the perfect spot to watch the game and enjoy amazing food and drinks? Look no further than Fieldhouse American Sports Pub. Family owned and operated, Fieldhouse is passionate about creating a fun, welcoming atmosphere for everyone. Spice things up on Tuesdays with Taco Tuesday. Buy any order of our delicious tacos and get a refreshing margarita for just $6. On Wednesday, Fieldhouse features incredible drink specials. Enjoy $5 well drinks and ice cold pints all day long. Fieldhouse was voted the #1 sports bar in Sacramento. Tons of TVs, a mouthwatering menu, and daily specials. It's the perfect sports bar to catch all the action. Visit us today at 1833 Fulton Avenue. Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, where the food is fantastic, the drinks are flowing, and the good times never stop. Fieldhouse, bring it to the house.
You've been saying you're going to pay better attention to your home's honeydews. Check one off your list right now by calling Gabrud Services to schedule a 12-point inspection of your home's electrical system. The safe rule of thumb is every 5 years for an inspection. If it's been 5 years or more, call Gabrud's now. A qualified technician will provide a thorough inspection of the electrical system to ensure it's safe or alert you to potential problems. At Gabrud's, electrical work is all we do. We are the area's recognized experts for anything electrical, and our #1 priority is ensuring your home and family are safe. You've been saying you'll pay better attention to your home. Stop saying it. Make the call to Gabrud's. Talk with a real person and schedule your 12-point inspection today. Gabrud's, locally owned for more than 30 years. Gubrud's.
Call the good dudes at Gabrud's. Gubrud's. Gabrud's.com.
The team at Downtown Ford Sacramento wishes you a phenomenal 2026. And what better way to ring in the new year than to treat yourself to a new or pre-owned Ford car or truck? See, the new year means we got to get rid of all these 2025 vehicles to make room for the new 2026 ones. So now's the time to get a crazy deal on a 2025 Ford that is still brand new. And we've got an awesome finance team here, always ready to help you get into the vehicle you want. And look, if you've had your eye on a Ford car or truck, but you're not yet ready to get into a brand new one just yet, odds are we've got a gently used version of that same car or truck right here on site for substantially less. Once you got your Ford, our top-notch service department will keep it running like it's brand new for as long as you own it. With more than 100 years of service to Sacramento, we're Downtown Ford on Howe Avenue next to the How About Arden Shopping Center. DowntownFordSacramento.com.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
Tell your friends. Grant's back. Grant Napear is back on the Sacramento airwaves right here. KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst. K284 CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
A big football weekend continues. College semifinal tonight. Then tomorrow night, Al Michaels will be on the call for the Packers and the Bears. And the reason why I talk about Al Michaels, he is coming back next year for the Thursday night package on Amazon. The 81-year-old Michaels, who has taken some heat this year by fans across the country, but he was on with my good buddy on Sirius XM, Christopher Mad Dog Russo, and said, quote, I always felt I'll go can or I'm wanted, but I have to be able to know that I can do the game at the level that satisfies me. If I feel not what I have been or the way I perceive myself to have been, that will be time to step away. I don't feel that way right now. Now, I'm curious. Do you believe that Michaels has declined to a point where he should not be doing the NFL anymore? Has he reached that point? Is he still a capable announcer? I don't think there's any doubt about that. Does his legacy and what he's accomplished as one of the great sportscasters of all time, I mean, truly one of the best ever, does that kind of give him a pass when he does have a blunder on Thursday Night Football? But he is coming back for next season and will be behind the mic tomorrow. And if you were going to rate the network play-by-play announcers, Fox, CBS, NBC, ESPN, and the Thursday night package on Prime, where would you put Al Michaels right now? If you look at the number one announced team, and I'm only going to talk play-by-play here, of Jim Nantz, Fox with Kevin Burkhardt, NBC with Mike Tirico, and ESPN with Joe Buck. If you were just going to keep it to the number one guys at the respective networks, where would you put Michaels on that list? I personally would put him ahead of both Nance and Burkhardt. I would not put him ahead of Buck. I would not put him currently ahead of Tirico. So for me, the way I look at announcing and evaluate, and I also think that it's very important to talk about the broadcast partner with the play-by-play guy, because I do think it makes a difference. But in this particular case, I'm keeping it strictly just to the individual. So if you put Buck and Tirico, which I would, at 1-2 or 2-1, depending on how you do that, I would put Michaels 3. I would probably put Nance 4 and Burkhardt 5, but that's just me. It's very subjective. But I don't think personally, like I watch Thursday Night Football and I'm like, oh my gosh, Al Michaels. Like I don't say that. I do think Al gets a little carried away at times with some things. I think that he is, so set in his ways, which I'm fine with, that I think sometimes he goes a little overboard on some of the things that bother him, such as constant penalties. He's not afraid to talk about the point spreads and the gambling, which I don't really like. As this from the 916 says, I'll take 50% of Al Michaels over any of the current broadcasting crews right now. Really? You would take him? You take 50% over Joe Buck, 50% over Mike Tirico? Really? I'm curious. Is that how you feel? So I'm an Al Michaels fan. I've watched Al Michaels do Monday Night Football. I watched Al Michaels do Monday Night Baseball. I thought his job in the Olympics in 1980 was one of the best announcing jobs ever, especially considering he had never announced hockey before with the Miracle on Ice. His Olympics work, his ability to do a variety of sports and do them at a very high level, longevity, and what he's accomplished throughout his career. The guy's truly one of the best. He's an icon. Like, you rarely will get people that go, I'm not an Al Michaels fan. Now, you might get those that criticize him because he's dropped off a little bit over the last year or two, but you don't get people that ever say Al Michaels is a bad announcer. Like, I've never heard that before. Like, I've never heard someone call up and say, I don't like Al Michaels, he's not a good announcer. I've heard people say that about Joe Buck, although I totally disagree. I've heard that about other announcers. I've never heard that about Al Michaels. It's like, I never heard that about Dick Enberg. Okay, when Dick Enberg was Mr. Everything for NBC, I don't ever recall getting comments that Dick Enberg was not at the top of his profession. He was at the top of his profession. I never got that about Keith Jackson. I never got that about Pat Summerall. Like, there are announcers, all right, the Vin Scullys of the world, okay, that you can talk about where you would rarely, if ever, get feedback from fans about negative comments about those announcers. Grant, where would I rank Chris Fowler if he were in the current decision? I'm not a crazy Chris Fowler play-by-play guy. He's okay for me. He doesn't move the needle for me. I think he does a tremendous job in tennis. I'm not a huge fan of his play-by-play. It's acceptable. It's okay. It's even good. But it's not there for me. I'm not a crazy. He doesn't bother me when he's doing this Saturday college football with Kirk Herbstreit. I think they're a very good team. I think they work very well together. It's not like that. It's not like when Mark Jones is on. When Mark Jones does a game, I'm like, oh my God. Like, I really can't watch the game. And I mean this, I have to mute the game. I don't mute the game with Chris Fowler. I'm fine with him. 631, I'll take 3/4 of an Al Michaels over most people. Again, I'm a big Al Michaels fan. I've always been an Al Michaels fan. Again, I talk about the greatest sportscasters of my life, where Kurt Gowdy, right? I mean, Kurt Gowdy was NBC. Dick Enberg. You talk about the great voices that CBS and Fox had with Pat Summerall, who not only did football, did the golf coverage, anchored the tennis coverage. And what I always admired about Pat Summerall is he didn't aspire to be a broadcaster. He was a professional football player and a kicker with the New York Giants and made the transition. That's a lot of things that fans don't understand. Very few, very, very few athletes ever transition into doing play-by-play. They're always analysts. There are exceptions. Frank Gifford, I thought he did a great job in his play-by-play when he did Monday Night Football. Pat Summerall, great. Not good, great. So there are very few that have come through as athletes that have then gone on to do play-by-play. Almost every single one of them are analysts or in the studio lending their expertise, most of whom are terrible, but very few. The Frank Giffords, the Pat Summeralls are the exceptions. They're few and far between. From the 916, Grant, Kenny Albert is great. He can do any sport. And he is the only announcer that does all 4 sports. He's the only announcer in North America that does all 4 sports. This from the 916. Al Michaels on Thursday Night Football for nostalgic reasons. I will appreciate his analysis as long as I can. He is the best. Only sportscaster to ever do national news as it was happening. That's not true. Ted Koppel, going to him during the San Francisco earthquake was brilliant. That is true. His news reporting on the Bay Bridge counter lever section collapse during the 89 earthquake was brilliant to me. Correct, but you're wrong when you say he is the only sportscaster ever to do national news as it was happening. And maybe you're wrong because of your generation. So I'm not sliding you for this, and I'm not being critical of you for this, but I think that you need to understand that at the Munich Olympics and the awful, awful tragedy of the 1972 Olympics in Munich, when Jim McKay was the host, and back then, television was completely different than it is today, okay? The job that Jim McKay did during that crisis, okay, as a host of a sports event, the 1972 Munich massacre, just to give you a little history here, the terrorist attack carried out by several members of the Palestinian militant organization, taking the lives of the Israeli athletes was so horrific. And Jim McKay, over a 24-hour period, where the end result was the deaths of the hostages, along with several others, and all 5 terrorists. The job that Jim McKay did on ABC during the Munich massacre, to this day, and you're right about Al Michaels, that's a good job while you're there, to this day, is one of the greatest jobs of newscasting that I have ever witnessed, and I'm 66. It's not in a class by itself, but as Bum Phillips once said of Earl Campbell, it doesn't take long to call the roll. 11 Israeli athletes were murdered at the 1992 Munich Olympics, or 1972 Munich Olympics. And again, if you were alive during that time and you were somebody that can appreciate greatness, I don't know if I've ever seen an individual put on a different hat and do a job as good as Jim McKay did. It was, to this day, as good as any journalism, any job of broadcasting that I have ever seen. From the 916, Jim McKay, of course, with 4 exclamation points, brilliant with exclamation points. Very true. Jeff, welcome to the show. Hi, Jeff.
Hey, Grant, how are you?
Good, thank you, Jeff.
Hey, I wanted to get your take on these sportscasters now that are involved with teams and still are, calling games, like Tom Brady, Troy Aikman, now Matt Ryan with the Atlanta Falcons taking over as president. And they want to keep their jobs, especially Matt Ryan wants to keep his desk job on the show. What's your take on that? Can they be unbiased?
It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me as much as it bothers other people. It really doesn't. I mean, announcing a football game is announcing a football game. I think that we're putting maybe too much into this. I'm not crazy about it. In other words, I'm not saying I'm on the air endorsing it, but it really doesn't bother me like it bothers a lot of others. Like my good buddy who I talk about, Chris Russo, he went on a rant the other day about Brady. I'm not like that. It doesn't bother me as much. What about you? Does it bother you?
Well, I don't know. It just seems, I don't know how they can be so involved and not say, if they have to call a game where one of their teams that they're involved in is on the field, how they, if they can be biased or not, or be homers.
Yeah, I guess you're talking about their objectivity or lack thereof, or they could just not do games involving those teams. That could be a solution too. But I'm not that bothered by it. It hasn't really bothered me.
Okay, I just wanted to get your take. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thank you very much. From the 631, McKay handled that situation with humility and class. Again, it's one of the great jobs ever. From the 916, thank you, Grant, for that history lesson on Jim McKay. I've got to go back and watch that. It is, I don't know if you could watch the whole thing because it spanned over basically a 24-hour period of time where Jim McKay did not leave his seat. And, I mean, I don't know what else to say. It was a horrific time in the world. And what happened at Munich, I'll never forget it, but I will never forget the job that Jim McKay did at the Olympics for ABC. To this day, it's as good as anything I've ever seen. You know what else is as good as anything when it comes to your heating and air conditioning? That's DAS Mechanical. And I say that because, like, you can't really give yourself numerous awards. Like, it doesn't have any validity to me. It doesn't have any credibility. And when I look at DAS Mechanical and all of their 5-star reviews and their numerous best of the best awards, that tells me all I need to know about their credibility about what they do. They are HVAC retrofit and service specialists. Yes, they also do new systems. Whether you're a homeowner, businesses for commercial maintenance, they do it all. Family owned and operated. They serve Sacramento and Placer counties. If you happen to need financing, remember, options available, including 0% interest for 18 months. Go to dasmechanical.org, D as in dog, A, S as in Sam, mechanical.org, and you will be able to schedule everything right there online. And they're going to go over every step of the way. You're not going to have any surprises. You're going to know everything at all times when it comes to your heating and air system. That's dasmechanical.org. We'll come back. We'll get to phone calls next right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
You've been saying you're going to pay better attention to your home's honeydews. Check one off your list right now by calling Gabrud Services to schedule a 12-point inspection of your home's electrical system. The safe rule of thumb is every 5 years for an inspection. If it's been 5 years or more, call Gabrud's now. A qualified technician will provide a thorough inspection of the electrical system to ensure it's safe or alert you to potential problems. At Gabrud's, electrical work is all we do. We are the area's recognized experts for anything electrical, and our number one priority is ensuring your home and family are safe. You've been saying you'll pay better attention to your home. Stop saying it. Make the call to Gabrud's. Talk with a real person and schedule your 12-point inspection today. Gabrud's, locally owned for more than 30 years. G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabrud's, G-U-B-R-U-D-S, Gabrud's.com.
The new year is here, a fresh opportunity to tell people about your products and services so they know who to spend their money with. Fox Sports Radio has a Mount Rushmore of sports talk talent. Patrick, Cowherd, Gottlieb, and Sacramento's own Grant Napear, and they have an audience you can take to the bank. This is Fox Sports General Manager Kurt Bagelman. Sports Talk listeners are a unique, target-rich group of consumers. They're employed, they earn six-figure incomes, 2/3 own their own homes, and they listen to the radio longer. Let me repeat that. They listen longer, so your commercial message has more opportunity to be heard. It costs nothing to learn how a good strategy and a great schedule could help your business. So call me, 916-779-0914. 916-779-0914. Radio gets results, and we are here to help. Call 916-779-0914.
916-779-0929. Got a big football weekend. We take phone calls as well with Al. Hello, Al. Welcome to the show.
Mr. Grant Napier, sir. Hello. I hope my connection's good. It sounded a little wanky.
Yep.
Just real quick, I got to get your take in the history because we're about the same age. I'm a little older. And I thought Jim McKay was involved or Chris Schenkel. Remember the 68 Olympics? Was it John Carlos and Smith? Two great American
Tommy
sprinters.
Smith and John Carlos. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
They wore black
at the time,
socks on the podium with no shoes. Yes.
And they had their and they had their hands clenched fast in there, their heads down, right? Representing what was happening in that era, coming in the civil rights movement and such. Yeah. That was well handled too. Semi-divisive, but nothing as great as what you're talking about. But
nobody lost. There wasn't a massacre. It was a protest about the black poverty in the South, and so it was a completely different situation.
Right. The take back, at the Olympics in Mexico City, the take back home was it started more people talking about what's going on and what, because we're coming right out of the civil rights era. So,
no question.
Yeah.
Hey, did you realize, you want a little history for you? I don't know if a lot of people realize this. This came to my attention about 10 or 15 years ago. Do you know that the 1968 Olympics was the first time that the Olympics was televised in color TV instead of black and white?
I would not have. I mean, I don't know, but I would have said, hey, what year do you think that would have been a good guess? Because I can remember, I can remember the first time that I watched The Wizard of Oz and saw the color portion of that. Because everything else before, of course, you watch The Wizard of Oz on TV and it was all black and white. And, and the first time you get a color TV and say, wow, look at that. So you're right. That's about the era, early, mid 60s, right? People, you tell a kid that today, Grant, they look at you like, you're from, Mars, Venus, whatever. The other thing I miss about the Olympics, I mean, it is. That's fine. We're old guys. We deserve that.
Yeah,
it's just like we talk to our parents or grandparents.
Yep.
My God, my grandparents, they didn't even own a car. They got around by getting on a horse or a cart.
Sure. I got you.
Yeah. But the other thing I miss is the great Howard Cosell. I miss him in boxing and everything. He was one of the greatest ever.
He was great. Thank you, bud. Appreciate it. Have a good weekend. The other thing I remember vividly in the early 70s, maybe the mid 70s, my neighborhood in Syosset, Long Island, getting cable TV. And I could not tell you how excited I was to get cable TV with more sports options instead of the local network affiliates, plus WOR Channel 9, which carried the Rangers, carried the Mets, which I hated. WPIX, Channel 11, had the Yankees. But sometimes it would come in clear, sometimes it wouldn't. I'll never forget when cable TV came to my neighborhood in the 70s, and I thought like I had won the sports lottery or the lottery. Incredible. I'll never forget it. Grant, the St. Louis Blues this past offseason fired their TV announcer to do a radio TV simulcast, so they kept the radio announcer, and he now does both TV and radio. How do you feel about that type of arrangement? It's an absolute disgrace. It is a joke from a professional franchise's perspective to try to save a little bit of money. They're doing a disservice to their audience, to their fans, and it should not be allowed by the leagues. Should not be allowed. From the 916, love the history lessons today, Grant. Thank you. I never got a good grade in history in school because I hated it. I used to hate history class. But now I'm talking about it. What's the deal with that, Rhino?
Yeah, is that the class where you would get the ruler to the knuckles?
No, that was second grade. We weren't really doing history in second grade. That was Mrs. Hefner in second grade.
The last name gets me every time. Hefner.
Yeah, I remember her name, Mrs. Hefner. Yep. An older lady, gray hair, always, with the knee-length dress on, very proper, very strict, like strict. And I was like, even in second grade, I was like, I knew I was in trouble. Strict. Like even that age, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a long year.
Our history teacher in high school, he looked exactly what you would think of for a history teacher, like one of those volunteers at a museum that gives you the tour. And he was just renowned, Mr. Fitch.
Well, I used to get in trouble all the time in my 8th grade German class. I took German as an elective. And I used to drive, my teacher was great, by the way. She was great. I really liked her. She was a very good teacher, but I was a pain in her neck because I kept chewing gum, and she would send me down to the principal's office, and I'd have to go talk to the principal, and he would say, Grant, really? Are you really in my office again? Are you wasting my time? You're telling me that you're down here because you have to chew gum? Would you? I do not want to see you down here again. Do you understand that? Yes, sir. I'm sorry. And then 2 days later, I'd be down there again.
So would you just, if you thought you were going to get caught, just swallow it?
I can't vividly remember that, probably. but it was bazooka bubble gum. You didn't really want to swallow that.
Yeah, good point. Good
Right?
point. How are you funding this habit?
Very, very, very difficultly. It was not easy. That's for sure. It was not. It was definitely. Although I tell you what I did, and I mean this. So I know you're gonna think I'm crazy, but I used to record Marv Albert doing the Rangers and the Knicks games at night on a little portable cassette recorder. And when there was a goal, let's say in the Rangers games, it had a 3-digit counter on it. So there was no digital back then. It was like a counter. Like it was like, so like if a goal was scored at like 332 on the counter or 485, I would write it down. And then the next day in homeroom, before the bell rang to get to first period, me and my buddies would be listening to the highlights, and I knew where they were. I would fast forward to like 332, the first goal. And after a while, they loved it. So I exchanged that. They would have to go out and buy me gum. So
okay.
I did that. Yeah. But I did that with some Knicks highlights, but Rangers, and me and my buddies, me and Tom Oakes and Roger Martin, Pete Anzalone. I still remember my friends huddling around in homeroom in junior high school, listening to Marv Albert from the night before with the Rangers and the Knicks games.
So like your sports fandom, whatever you want to call it, were you just like another level beyond your friends where you're
Yes.
okay? It sounds that way. And it's cool.
I was another level for a few reasons. I was the only one that had access to the Giants and the Jets because my father was a season ticket holder. And back then, if you didn't have tickets to the Giants, you couldn't go to the game. There were no tickets available, even though they stunk. The Jets, same thing, because they were really good back then, the Joe Namath era and after. It was very difficult if you didn't have tickets to go to the Jets. I had a buddy, Tom Oakes, who was very close with the McGuires, Frank McGuire, Dick McGuire, Al McGuire. And the McGuires from New York, Dick McGuire was a scout for the Knicks. He was Mr. Basketball, and he had tickets that were like courtside at Madison Square Garden. And his family was very well off. I'll never forget meeting the McGuires with him and what a huge thrill that was for me. And actually got to know Dick McGuire, and Al McGuire actually helped me out with an interview for my sports magazine show on WKIQ radio that I had when I was a junior in college. And Al did an interview with me, which was huge for me at the time.
Wow.
But like, I was jealous of him because the Knicks were the hot ticket when I was growing up. Willis Reed, Walt Frazier, DeBusschere, Bradley, Phil Jackson, Mike Reardon, Stallworth. I can go on and on. Okay. Kazzie Russell, Red Holtzman was the coach. And I used to be so envious and so jealous. And he actually did take me to my only Knicks game growing up as a kid, and it was to meet Marv Albert. And I was in 8th grade when I met Marv for the first time before a Knicks game against the Chicago Bulls. And that to this day, I remember what I was wearing. I remember where in Madison Square Garden I talked to Marv, where I met him. And to this day, it had a huge impact on my life.
It's pretty cool that you like passed that along, even with listeners to a degree throughout the years. What was the guy that came over from, was it Brazil? I want to say.
Well, there was Eduardo from Chile.
Okay.
Yeah. Danny from England.
Yep.
I took him to the locker room. I mean, his story was unbelievable. Not only did he get a chance to meet a lot of the players before the game, Keith Smart was the coach and couldn't believe that he'd come all the way over from England to watch the game and said, hey, if we win, I want you to come into the locker room. Well, the Kings beat Toronto, and I see Danny sitting, waiting for me after the game courtside at Toronto, and I send him a message. I go back and stand outside the locker room. And I'm doing the post game. And about 15 minutes later, I walk back there and I see Danny now outside the locker room. I go, dude, did you do what I told you to? He goes, yeah. He goes, you won't believe this, mate. I go, what? He goes, I was in the locker room talking to the team. I go, whoa. What do you mean you were in the locker room? He goes, Keith Smart saw me out there and said, come here, I want you to come in and I want you to talk to the team and I want you to tell them your story because they need to know that they not only have fans in Sacramento, but they have fans all over the world and how important it is that that's what they do. So Danny comes over as a fan thinking he's only going to go to a game. He doesn't know I'm getting my press pass to go on to the court to get pictures and meet the guys and everything else. He actually ends up in the locker room talking to the team after the win.
Can't make it up.
No, you can't make it up. Like that doesn't happen, right?
Can't buy that experience.
No, you can't buy that experience. You can't even have that experience. Like that never happens. I'm like, that just never, ever happens. Now, but think about that. You go to a game, you're literally going to go travel to a game. You're going to go watch your favorite team. You reach out to the guy that has a radio show a couple of weeks prior and let him know that you're going to the game. And he says, wow, I'd love to meet you. So we met after I got off the radio at 10 o'clock that night, the night before the game, 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific. I meet him at the sports bar across from the arena, which was open. It was a Fox Sports Bar in Toronto. I meet him there. Never met him before. We have a beer or two. I get something to eat. And, I've got his number. And the next day, I send him a message. I go, listen, you need to go to the game early and go to this window. I'm going to leave you a credential so you can get in before the fans. And when you get in, you come down and see me. So I got a press pass for him. And he's on the court. And I'm introducing him to the players. And I'm taking his picture for him with the players. I'm like, give me your phone. Let me take your picture. Okay. And then I introduced him to Keith Smart. And that's when Keith said, hey, if we win the game, I want, come back here. I want you to see me.
Yeah.
And he did. And the rest is history. How about that?
Can you imagine like somebody behind the scenes giving him a little bit of crap? Wait, coach wants you to come stand by the locker room? Well, that doesn't make sense.
Is that unbelievable or
That's
what?
so cool. Hey, last minute predictions before kickoff. You going Oregon or Indiana?
I'm going
-3?
Indiana. I think it's their year. I think that the way they beat Ohio State and then embarrassed Alabama, they didn't have any letdown. They have a phenomenal team. I liked how they played Oregon earlier in the year. I am taking Indiana. Which way are you going?
I am going Indiana as well. I'm going to say straight up. Well, yeah, they're going to win this game. So
Well, I don't even know what the spread is. I didn't even look at it.
it is 3 in favor of Indiana.
Okay. All right. Yeah, kickoff coming up in just a moment.
Miami making it to the finals, and I know we've got a week to talk about that. That is a massive advantage playing at Hard Rock.
Yeah, I didn't even really think about that. Yeah. I don't know if it will be an advantage in terms of the crowd at the game. I mean, the tickets are going to be split, and I still think you're going to have a lot of Indiana fans there. But, yeah, it's basically a home game for them.
I mean, you have your facility, right? You're going to be able to – yeah, it's a home game.
Okay, but the Indiana Hoosiers will be at Dolphins facility.
Well, it's still okay.
I mean,
great.
right?
NFL,
So
but I bet they would like to still be in their own facility.
Yeah, but I mean, just saying, I think you're making a little bit too much out of it in that sense. Yeah, they'll be in their own facility, which is nice, but the Hoosiers will be in an NFL facility, which doesn't suck either.
No, they do not.
Yeah. I think the advantage, in all honesty, and even though it's going to be quote unquote a business trip because you have to get down there several days early, when you're 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22, and you're at college at Indiana, and now you're in Miami, Florida, where it's 80 degrees, like it can. No, I'm just telling you, you've got to get your mind right that you're there to play football, and everything else. Whereas if you go to Miami, that's your life. It's not a big deal. Like so, yeah, I would agree that is an advantage for them.
Yeah, if it's warm, it's humid. Indiana doesn't play in a
It
ton
won't
of
be
those
humid.
games.
It won't be humid. There's no humidity in Florida in the wintertime. It's only in the summer. So the humidity won't be an issue.
Why did my friends not tell me that?
I don't know.
the summer.
But I lived in Florida for a number of years in
I know.
Miami, and the winter has very low humidity.
All right.
Yeah. All right. We'll come right back. More of your phone calls. Don't forget, Grant's Rant coming up at 5 o'clock, and our playoff picks in the final segment of the show, getting you to the weekend right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
If you're like most homeowners and can't remember the last time you had your heating system inspected, it's probably time. So right now, the Home Heating and Air Pros at Sierra Pacific Home and Comfort are offering a $79 complete heating and air system inspection. This is a very detailed inspection where Sierra Pacific's technicians go through your entire system, get it cleaned up, and then make sure it's running at peak efficiency. No need to worry about a heating system breakdown this winter. Call or visit Sierra Pacific online and schedule your $79 system inspection today. We also do complete HVAC system replacements. So if you own an older house that's due for a new heating and air system, talk to us. And if the cost of a new system seems out of reach, our finance team can work with you to help you get into a new, super efficient heating and air system this winter. Sierra Pacific Home and Comfort. SierraPacificHome.com.
Sierra Pacific Solar Heating and Air. The guys in the big red trucks.
Are your lights flickering more than a disco ball? Tired of your office coffee maker and server room fighting over that one working outlet? Call the pros who keep the juice flowing. Elite Power Inc. Elite Power Inc. is the commercial and industrial electrical contractor who takes your power and lighting seriously so you don't have to. Elite Power Inc. handles everything from rewiring ancient office buildings to installing cutting-edge control panels in factories. Their IBEW 340 electricians have more certifications than your printer has error messages. And they promise not to judge your breaker panel's creative labeling. Get plugged in with Elite Power Inc., where sparks fly, but only in a good way. Professionally trained technicians, 24-hour electrical service, maintenance, and repair. Project estimating, the knowledge and skill for any commercial or industrial need. Call 916-739-1580. That's 916-739-1580, or go to elitepower.com.
Hi, it's Margot from Bennett's Restaurants. Looking for the best happy hour in town? Head to Bennett's, where every day from 2 to 6, you'll find flavor, fun, and serious value. Enjoy over 10 wines by the glass, country club-style cocktails like lemon drops, skinny margaritas, and crave-worthy share plates. Short rib tacos, chicken wings, calamari, and more, starting at just $6. It's upscale without the uptight. 3 locations, Roseville, Rockland, and Sacramento. Join us today or check out the menu at bennettsrestaurants.com.
Hey, it's Grant Napear for Village Financial Group. I have known broker owner Spencer Grimmenstein for 25 years, ever since he began his family-owned business. Whether it's a home equity line of credit or buying or selling a home, Spencer is a very creative financing specialist with access to private money. Check out Village Financial Group at bfgloans.com or call Spencer at 916-805-4868. Be sure and call for the investor special. And if you go to their website, vfgloans.com, you can find over 9,000 properties available for purchase. Folks, Spencer is awesome. Trust me. Again, I've known the guy since 2000. It makes sense to call Spence at 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest. Call 916-805-4868.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and I dedicate a lot of my time going fast. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Grant Rant coming up next segment. Get you into the weekend. 916-779-0929. Somebody asked me, what criteria do I use when I talk about announcers and my favorites and things of that nature? Well, for me, you've got to be able to do multiple sports and do them very well to be considered an iconic announcer. That's me. So, like, what does that mean? Well, we talked about Al Michaels, okay? Al has announced multiple sports at a very high level. Dick Enberg, multiple sports at a very high level. Joe Buck. I love Joe. I think he's great. I mean, his baseball announcing to me is stellar. His football announcing is very good. I think his baseball announcing is great. So, you've the Kenny Alberts of the world, Marv Alberts, like announcers, you've got to be able to announce more than one sport. And I always tell young aspiring broadcasters, okay, that you need to not focus in on one sport, okay? You need to be well-rounded and don't just limit yourself to your favorite sport. I've been very open about this. I wanted to be a hockey announcer, but I announced basketball, hockey, and football, and I studied that growing up. But my dream was to do hockey. That was what I really wanted to do. Well, it didn't work out that way, even though I did announce hockey. And I announced big-time Division I college hockey, and I did a couple of Sharks games filling in for Randy Hahn in the 90s on television, which was a huge thrill for me. But I always wanted to be a hockey announcer, but I ended up doing the NBA for 32 years. I had a chance to do the NFL in the preseason for 5 years, and I had a chance to do college football, which all of that, I'm grateful that I had the opportunity. So don't limit yourself to one sport. But when I want to talk about great broadcasters on my Mount Rushmore, they have to be an individual that did multiple sports and did them at an unbelievably high level. Like when you look at like our local announcers, right? Like if you look at our local announcers, like look at what Bill King did. Bill King was a great announcer who did the Raiders, the A's, and the Warriors, and we could debate his legacy of one of the great announcers in Northern California, and you would probably have a wide range of opinion on which sport was his best. Some would say football. Some would say, oh boy, no, he was a phenomenal basketball announcer. Others would say, oh boy, he was great when he did the A's. He was phenomenal. Same thing in New York. Like Marv is synonymous with his basketball announcing, and there are those that think Marv Albert is the greatest greatest basketball announcer of all time. I am in that category too of those that think Marv is the greatest of all time. But I also thought that he was a phenomenal hockey announcer. Phenomenal. Not just good, phenomenal. So you've got to be able to, if you're going to be on my Mount Rushmore, just me personally, of announcers, you've got to be able to announce multiple sports, and you need to do them all very well. So I always tell students, don't limit yourself to one sport. Make sure you know how to announce this or that. And I've always said this, and I kind of exaggerate, but not really. I could announce 2 dogs running across my front yard. I could announce the traffic at an intersection. I could announce planes taking off at Kennedy Airport. Like, I could do all of that. And I think that I could do it, and you would go, wow, that's unbelievable. And I'm not bragging, but like I could announce planes taxiing and taking off at JFK Airport. And I think I could do it very well, and I think you would go, wow. I mean, I don't know. I have an ability to look at something, put it in the words, and paint the picture. Now, if I was doing planes and everything else on TV, I might be less descriptive. But on radio, I think I could have no problem doing it. On radio, I could announce the traffic, at the intersection of Greenback and Sunrise. If you put me on a perch above the intersection, I think I could do it. I don't think I could do it. I know I could do it and make it into a fun segment. There's just something about like describing what is going on live. That's why Kevin Harlan is so good at what he does when weird things happen, like a black cat running onto the field or whatever else. Kevin can announce those type of things because he is supremely gifted. Kevin could announce two dogs running across his front yard. He could do it, and he could do it very well, and you would be, wow, like that's unbelievable. I've always been like that. I could do it in second grade. I can do it now at 66. I don't know why. I don't know if it was just something I was born with or what have you, but I've never had a problem looking at something in live action and describing it to you as it's going on. And I do believe, and I mean this in all sincerity, that none of this would have happened if I didn't grow up on Long Island listening to Marv Albert, because Marv used to put me into a trance when I listened to him do Knicks and Rangers on the radio. Like, it literally captivated me to a point where I wanted to record the games on my little portable cassette recorder and then let my friends listen to the highlights the next day at school. And I mean that. It just was like, it put me into a place that, like, I decided that's what I want to do when I get older. And I really mean that. That's what I said. I want to do that. And I started announcing games on the schoolyard that I played in. I started announcing games in my head when I watched them on TV. I went to the games, and in my head, as I was at the games, I was announcing them as I was watching. You know, you didn't have the ability that you have now to listen to out-of-market announcers. I had a chance to listen to Marv Albert, and I had a chance to listen to Jim Gordon, who did the Giants and Rangers. I had a chance to listen to the Yankee and Mets announcers, and that's it, other than the network announcers. I couldn't go on the internet and listen to Bill King do the Warriors or Chick Hearn do the Lakers or Dan Kelly do the St. Louis Blues. But when I went to college at Bowling Green and I was able to sit in my room at night and hear the great announcers across the region, the Ernie Harwell do the Tigers, I could listen to him. Then I could go and listen to Jack Buck do the Cardinals. Then I could listen to Herb Score do the Indians. And if I wanted to watch hockey, I'd get Dan Kelly on KMOX in St. Louis coming in clear as a bell in Bowling Green, Ohio. No problem. Could listen to all of those stations clear as a bell at nighttime. Boy, how about Indiana? They're already on the board 11 seconds into the game on an interception return. Wow. That's unbelievable. 11 seconds into the game. Wow. What a way to start for the Indiana Hoosiers. Man, that's big time. But again, I mean that. Like, I was blessed to go to an area of the country where for the first time in my life, I could listen to other announcers, not named Marv Albert and not named Jim Gordon and others. It was a blessing for me. It was a blessing for me. And I'm grateful for that. Grateful. 7-0 Indiana, 11 seconds into the game. Think about that. 11 seconds in, pick six, you're on the board already. What a way to start. What a way to start. You always talk about quick starts. Whoa. Oregon's got to be a little shell-shocked as Moore in his first pass gets it picked off and returned. That's incredible. Tell me Dante Moore wouldn't want to start this game all over again. Brutal. Wow. All right. Football. We got a lot going on. The 49ers, the Eagles, the NFL playoffs tomorrow. What do you think? Who are you taking? Is there going to be an upset this weekend? And if so, what direction are you going in? Who's going to be the team that pulls off the upset this weekend in the NFL? Or will there be no upsets? Green Bay is actually favored in their game against Chicago, even though they are the lower seed and are on the road. The Bears getting 1.5 points at home. Surprised? Your thoughts on that game? I've already gone over the 49ers. Trent Williams officially questionable. Okay. Ricky Pearsall officially questionable. D. Winters' ankle questionable. Will Ricky Pearsall be on the field against Philadelphia? Will Trent Williams, who was limited today and yesterday, be on the field? Pearsall and Winters, by the way, did not practice at all this week. Williams told reporters today that he will be a game-time decision, but said, quote, he is confident that he will play. That's pretty good. That's pretty big. And if he does play, how effective will he be? And how long will he last? And if he plays, will he re-injure himself so that if the 49ers were to advance, he'd be able to play the following week? All of those things come into play. All of those things come into play. 916-779-0929 said, picked off touchdown Indiana. Oh, boy, if you don't like that, you don't like college football. Perhaps Indiana wins by more than 20, says the 916. 916, thank you for your compliment. Grant, don't sell yourself short. You're a great announcer. I'm so glad you're talking for a living again. By the way, I think Indiana will win by more than 10 points. Appreciate all the text messages. Thank you very much. It's a big drive currently for Oregon after giving up 7 points on that first play. They got to establish something here on this drive. The winner, of course, will take on Miami for the national championship. All right, again, Grant's Rant is coming up in a little bit. Our football picks in the final segment. Who are you picking as the upset? Are there going to be an upset? Well, we're going to do all the picks, all the games this weekend, and you'll have a chance to win a $100 gift certificate courtesy of Bennett's, Sacramento, Roseville, and the West Side Grill. So Green Bay at Chicago in the NFC, San Francisco, Philadelphia, the Rams at the Panthers. I think the Rams of the road teams had the best chance, a 5 seed, not that that really matters, at number 4, Carolina. AFC, Chargers at New England, Buffalo at Jacksonville, Houston at Pittsburgh. My opinion, Houston has the best chance to win of those 3 road teams. I think New England beats the Chargers. The Buffalo-Jacksonville game, I think, will be close, but I got to pick Jacksonville to win. And I just think Houston's defense is going to suffocate the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, who's going to advance on to the next weekend for the divisional round? We got a lot to talk about. And again, we'll make our picks coming up in the final segment. All right, why don't we check in with Dave here. Dave, we'll get you on before we get to the break. Go ahead, Dave in Elk Grove.
Hey, Grant. Good to hear you
Dave.
again. So my
NFL upset for the week is going to be the Chargers going into New England and beating the Patriots.
Okay, why?
I just think the Patriots are, they've had a soft schedule. Obviously, they've gone from 4-13 to 13-4, so credit for that. But
I think the Chargers are poised with Justin Herbert to pull off the upset in New England, and then see what happens from there.
Okay. I think it could be a very close game. I wouldn't put it past them to win the game. The weather, by the way, the forecast is not good for Sunday, so keep that in mind in Foxborough.
Yeah,
I don't think that helps the Chargers.
No, that does not help the Chargers at all. But shifting over to my Buffalo Bills, what do you think about their chances of going into Jacksonville and pulling that off?
You know, the one thing about Jacksonville, and I give them a lot of credit for how they played, you want to talk about their schedule. It has been very weak during their streak. The only way, in my opinion, that the Bills are going to win this game, which I think they can, is they're going to have to score a defensive touchdown or a special teams touchdown. And the reason why I say that, we've talked about this, Dave. I am not sold on the Bills defensively. I think the Bills defensively, that is their Achilles heel, and they're going to have to make up for that with a turnover that turns into a touchdown, in my opinion. They can do it, but that's what they're going to have to do.
No, you're 100% on the money, Grant. I think that a defensive turnover or touchdown, could be the difference for them. Josh is going to have to obviously put on his Superman cape again, but we'll see what happens. I agree with you and Rhino when you talked the other day that if the Bills lose this game, Sean McDermott's out on Monday, and maybe we get John Harbaugh as our next coach. Who knows?
Yeah. By the way, the forecast at night is not terrible now. Low near 25, but the winds might be going up to 20 miles per hour, but the precipitation is earlier in the day. So that at least is good in that sense. Dave, have a great weekend. Good luck to your Bills.
All right, Grant. Thank you.
Yep. Good luck to the team you root for. I hope it brings you a smile to your face. Don't forget, Grant's Rant is coming up right around the corner. The final hour of the show and our NFL picks all ahead as the first quarter is underway in the semifinal college football game with Indiana leading 7-0. Oregon driving on a 10-play drive. Grant's Rant next here on Fox Sports Sacramento. Hey, it's Grant Napear for my friends at DAS Mechanical. Did you know most homeowners are changing their heating and air systems from gas to all electric? It's about getting more energy efficiency and saving a lot more money every month on energy bills. If your current heating and air system is 15 years or older, it may be time to consider a change. Call DAS Mechanical first. Nearly all of DAS's work is gas to electric whole system changeouts. Nick and his team, they're experts. They also have 0% financing and 24/7 availability if you ever have a heating emergency. Award-winning, locally owned. It's DAS Mechanical, serving their Sacramento and Placer County neighbors for years. Save more on your energy bills. Call, text, or chat at 530-591-1055 to find out more, or go to dasmechanical.org. That's dasmechanical.org.
Call the good dudes at Gabrudes, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Homeowners, if you have an electrical project you need done, then you need the good dudes at Gabrudes. Family owned and operated for 30 years, Jay Gabrude and his team are the area's recognized experts for everything electrical, from the very basic like repairs, lighting upgrades, and whole house fans to the biggies, panel replacements, EV stations, and backup generators. Gabroods does it all and does it right the first time. They're actually the guys their competition recommends. Gabroods, expert 5-star service and always transparent, honest prices and solutions. Say goodbye to your electrical issues. Visit Gabroods.com or call 24/7 and speak with a real live person. Gabroods, Gubruds.
Call the good dudes at Gabroods, G-U-B-R-U-D-S, Gabroods.com.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. If last night's game told us anything, it reminded us you still win in the trenches and with the running game. Miami didn't win that game with flash. They won it with force. The Hurricanes' defensive line lived in the Ole Miss backfield, making life miserable for the Rebels' passing attack. On the other side of the ball, Miami's offensive line controlled the line of scrimmage, opening up consistent running lanes en route to just under 200 rushing yards. Indiana and Oregon have shown a similar formula this season. It might not always be sexy, but it is effective. Explosive offenses grab headlines. Yet, when playoff football arrives, the margins tighten. Style points disappear. Execution in the trenches does not. Whether it's college football or the NFL, the teams that block, tackle, and run the ball usually separate the good from the great. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise.
Start the year with a splash of flavor. Heartland Steakco's Reef and Beef Package combines juicy steak and fresh seafood for the ultimate celebration. With the Reef and Beef Package from Heartland Steakco, you will be feasting on Maine cold water lobster, jumbo USA sea scallops, 16-ounce USDA choice ribeye steaks, and 8-ounce filet mignon, delivered straight to your door. Don't wait long, because the Reef and Beef Package from Heartland Steakco will not be around forever. So treat yourself or pick one up as a gift for family, friends, clients, or anyone who loves that true Midwest taste. Ordering is easy at heartlandsteaksco.com. And right now, when you spend $199.99 or more, you'll get free shipping plus $26 off with promo code NEWYEAR26. Give the gift of flavor this year with Heartland Steakco. That's heartlandsteaksco.com, promo code NEWYEAR26. Taste the Heartland difference.
Grant Napear is back every weekday afternoon, 3 to 6. This is Fox Sports, KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst, K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
It's time for Grant's Rant.
Dandy of a college football game last night. The final, Miami 31, Ole Miss 27, a 15-play drive by the Hurricanes to come from behind to score a touchdown with less than 30 seconds remaining. Ole Miss gets the ball back, makes a couple of completions, and then on the last play of the game, a Hail Mary into the end zone where there was no penalty called on what was a clear pass interference. You got to call that. I mean, the game cannot end on such a blatant missed call. Now, that doesn't mean that Ole Miss would have won the game. It wouldn't have given them a touchdown, but it would have given them one extra play closer to the end zone. Can't have a game end like that. Bad job by the officials. Everyone saw it. It was not even close. It was blatant. You've got to make that call. Bad job by the officials there. Congratulations to Miami as they're on to the national championship game. And that's my rant for today. We get to Washington, D.C., and we say hello to Linda. Hi, Linda.
No, it's Raheel. He said Linda.
What's your name?
Hello?
Hello,
Raheel.
how are you?
Raheel.
Huh.
Good,
How are
good.
you?
I'm listening to your show, and I do not agree with you. There is no way Aaron Rodgers, the Pittsburgh Steelers, are going to be losing to Houston. Are you serious? Houston is in the hot weather in Houston. They are in a dome. There is no way in 40 plus and being out in Pittsburgh in the East Coast, because I live in the East Coast, there is no way at night. There's no way. And CJ Stroud is not having their offensive line is just not, it's not, they're not going to win. There's no way.
Have you watched the Houston Texans play defense?
Pissed me off.
Have you watched the
Yes,
Houston
they have.
Texans
You know
play
what?
defense?
I'm tired of hearing about the defense. There
You
is
know what
no
I'm
defense
tired of?
when you don't have an offense.
Have you ever watched their defense? Do you know anything about football? Do you know that defense doesn't matter whether
Of
you're playing at
course,
100 degrees?
wait a minute. Wait.
Okay, well let me ask you a question. Do you know that defense doesn't matter whether you're playing if it's 0 degrees or 100 degrees? It doesn't matter when you have a great defensive team.
They are not that good of a team. Their offense is not that good, and CJ is not having a great year. He had one good year, a bad year last year, and there's no way that you're talking about Aaron Rodgers.
So
There's
go bet
no
your house.
way
Go
that
bet
Aaron-
every single. Well, then you know what? Since you're so confident, bet everything you have on the Pittsburgh Steelers, and you'll be very happy. You'll be a very happy lady.
The Rams are going to win. The Pittsburgh Steelers are going to win, and the Bills are going to be out. So I didn't
Okay,
like
great.
your,
Then go
your
bet.
take
Go
on
bet
it.
everything. Go bet everything. Go ahead.
I
Bet
will.
everything
I
you
will.
have.
And I will call back because I was
Please do.
listening to you, and I will call back when
Thank you.
when we win on Monday night. Have a good
Okay,
one.
and you know what? I appreciate that. I will look forward to your call on Tuesday in the
I
first hour,
definitely
and I
will.
promise you, I will take your call first ahead of everybody else. I promise you that. Okay.
Okay,
All right, but you
good,
have to
that's
promise.
good.
But
You know
wait a
what?
minute.
I like
Wait.
that.
Whoa. You have to promise me something, because I promise
I will.
you that I will do that. If I'm right and you're wrong, I would like you to call as well.
Oh, I definitely will. I definitely.
Okay.
I've been listening to you for a while now because you kind of pissed me off on some of your picks. So I had to call in at this time. I got to get a hold of this guy because he's pissing me off.
Hey, you know what? I appreciate that, but hey, this is all fun. It's entertainment. You have your opinion. I have my opinion, but let's have fun. I wish you a great weekend. Good luck to your Steelers. And on
you.
Tuesday, I will hear from you. Win or lose, I'm going to hear from you on Tuesday, correct?
And wait. Before I go, I'm from the Bay Area.
Yeah.
And I'm a Cal grad, so obviously there's an A-Rod thing there. But don't forget, some of the best players come from the Bay Area. So let's just be real. You're in Sacramento, so we got to keep it real. But
Linda,
Linda,
can I share something with you? Can I share something with you? Aaron is a friend of mine. I've known him since he came out of Cal. He used to appear on my radio show all the time. We used to text after games all the time. He has always been good to me. I am a huge Aaron Rodgers fan, but I'm telling you, I don't like this matchup from the Steelers' perspective.
Well, we have some of our players, TJ's back. We got some good players that we have a good defense too. And let's not forget, Cam Hayward is having a great year. So
yes, he is.
I'm a Niner fan, but the reason why I did a bandwagon, because I live in the East Coast, I'm in Commander area, and I'm not a Commander fan. But I love the fact that A-Rod I followed him in New York, and I followed him against Pittsburgh. So I do love the fact that, I love some of our players, and I heard you, because I'm a Rob Park, I've got to be honest, I love Rob Park, and that's how I found you, because I was listening to you the last couple of weeks. So I was like,
Thank you.
He is good. He pisses me off, but I got to call him back.
Well,
so
and
have
I
a good
appreciate
one, and
that.
I'll call back on Tuesday. Yeah.
You,
sometimes we find you. You have a lot of people that in DC in my area that listen to the show. So we're listening to you. So.
Well, you know what? Could you do me a
You have
favor and
follow.
tell them thank you very much. I appreciate that. If you don't mind me asking, how long have you lived in the DC area?
For now, for work, for the last 10 years.
Do you like
it?
it?
I do political media. Yeah,
okay.
I like it.
Boy, political media.
Yeah, so
Gosh,
I'm on
what?
the
Okay.
opposite.
So political
the
media.
fun
Oh my
stuff, I do
gosh.
the hard
Like political media. What? I mean, how impossible of a job is that?
Which brought me out there. But no, I will be listening. I will call back on Tuesday when I'm winning and
Okay.
we're all happy and we're going to go to the next game. Okay.
All right. You have to do me a favor. I want you to hold on. Don't hang up. I want you to hold on. Okay. Hold on for a second.
Okay.
All right. Have a great weekend. Hold on. Don't hang up. I'm going to put you on hold.
So first off, if she was local, that's $100 Bennett's gift card. A call like that.
Wow.
Second off, 1-800-GAMBLER.com.
Talk to her. She's great. I really enjoyed that conversation. That's good stuff. How about Oregon tying up that game on that. I'm going to tell you something. That is huge. That is huge. You have a pick six on the first play of the game, and you get the ensuing kickoff and you go down the field on a prolonged drive and on a 3rd and long, you score a touchdown. 19 yards from Moore to Johnson to cap off a 14-play, 75-yard drive. That was a good call with Linda. Spirited. See, I like that. That got me pumped up. I love calls like that. Yeah. Linda and I going back and forth. Love it.
Okay, so I had to ask her to hold the line. I didn't want you to think it was Linda. It's actually Rahil.
Rahil.
Rahil in D.C. That's my bad.
Well, okay. It says Linda on my screen. So Rahil. Yep. Okay. So Rahil, I apologize for getting your name wrong. So Rahil, that's my bad. Rahil, thank you for listening in D.C. I love having a little bit of like in your face. You're in my face. I'm in your face, Rahil. See, that's good. That's what I'm all about. I love it, Rahil. Great call. That's my favorite call of the day so far. That's great stuff. Call back on Tuesday, Rahil, and I apologize, although Rhino's the one that has to apologize because he's the guy that put right, Rhino, I'm blaming you for this, okay?
I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, that is on me. 100%. 100%.
I love Rahil's passion. I love her spirited energy. I love that.
Oh, she gave it to me. She didn't give it to me that much, but she gave me a take when I was talking to her on hold. I was like, you're great.
I love it.
Love it.
And I'll tell you what else I love. I love that Rahil said that there are a lot of people in the D.C. area that have found me and are listening to me. So that makes me feel good, too. So hello to the nation's capital. And by the way, could you imagine having a job in 2026 and your job deals with political media? Oh, my goodness gracious.
I worked at the state capitol straight out of college for a year. Never again.
Oh, my gosh. I can't. Political media.
Yeah.
I mean, what an impossible, wow. That's amazing. All right. So 916, Grant, you have a sure lock for the NFL playoffs this weekend. My lock is the Rams to beat the Panthers. From the 530, oh boy, Grant. I love that call. She has big opinions. I love it. Yes, she does. Yes. I do remember Ray Scott on CBS in the 60s. Ray was a great announcer. Great. Yes. Love that. All right. Let's get to John. Hello, John. Welcome to the show.
Grant, that call was so freaking fiery coming from her. I loved it.
Loved it.
It reminds me of you and I debating stuff over the years, and I want to make sure to tell her, hey, Grant, you and I have hung up on each other before. It's never kept us from calling back or taking our calls. That was
exactly
fantastic.
Right. Loved it.
I'm so glad you're back, brother.
Thank you. Loved it.
And hey, I'm the one who texted 916 thinking Indiana is going to win by 10. And then I said 20. And now it's tied up. What a fun game we're watching. I love college football. Maybe I'm the only one here in Northern California other than you that does, but look at that run right there.
I love it
out
too.
Of bounds, inside the 5.
I love it too.
All right, Grant.
I love it too.
Hey, have a great weekend. And hey, let's talk Niners and Eagles. These are the two teams that I hate more than any, except maybe Pittsburgh. And I love Aaron Rodgers. So, man, this is going to be so fun.
Yeah, Houston is not going to have a problem. The weather's not going to be an issue for Houston. That's not an issue. Not with their defense. It's not a factor.
Well, hey, I'm on board with you 100%. Houston's defense, they make up for a lot of their offensive inadequacies, in my opinion, from what I've seen throughout the whole season. And they've really been constant.
The only way Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers are going to be successful, they're going to have a quick passing attack. They are not going to be able to protect Rodgers to get the ball downfield. It's going to have to be quick strikes. Ball's going to have to get out of his hand in a hurry because the Houston defense is too good. Their matchups do not favor Pittsburgh in this game.
Man, you're right about that. If they can keep it close, if Pittsburgh can keep it close, you never know. Aaron Rodgers has got some magic at the end of the games.
Absolutely.
If they can keep it close to the end,
I've seen Hail Marys. We've all seen it. This is why
You also
we
have to
play 'em,
remember,
man.
Aaron Rodgers' playoff record is not very good, so keep that in mind too.
I know. Well, hey, my playoff record for the team I root for isn't very good, but I've won a Super Bowl more recently than the San Francisco 49ers. So that's almost all I can say about that, because your team that you root for has 2 Super Bowls since I have.
Thank you, buddy. You take care. Have a good weekend.
Love you, Grant. Have a
You're
great
the best,
weekend.
John.
Talk to
Appreciate
you.
it.
Hey, Grant,
Thank you, bud.
Here's the other reason the temperature does not matter that much. Have you seen the space engine heaters that are blowing on them?
Yes.
On the sidelines?
Yes, it's actually too hot if you're on the sideline.
Yeah. So, I mean, it doesn't get to the middle of the field, but it's warmer down there.
Indiana has taken the lead. They lead 14-7, a defensive touchdown and a long drive on an offensive touchdown, 14-7. Hey, I want to talk to you about DAS Mechanical. You've heard me mention them a lot since I started doing this show in September. HVAC retrofit and service specialist. Also keep in mind, during these cold months, if you happen to have a heating emergency, they are available 24/7. That's right. DAS Mechanical, always available to take care of your needs when it comes to HVAC. They are retrofit and service specialists. They do it as well as can be. They are awesome. They also do new systems. They are incredible. Go to dasmechanical.org. That's D as in dog, A, S as in Sam, mechanical.org. 2026. Yeah, think about where you're at with your heating and air system. Let DAS Mechanical come out to your home or business and evaluate the system and whether you should maybe go electric, and think about saving a lot of money on your energy bills, because you'll have a much more energy efficient system. That's right. Think about that in 2026. DAS Mechanical, perfect, because again, they are experts at this. They're awesome. Go to dasmechanical.org. Check out their 5-star reviews. They're numerous best of the best awards. D as in dog, A, S as in Sam, mechanical.org. That's dasmechanical.org for all of your HVAC retrofit and service. 2 segments left, including our NFL picks at the end of this hour. Grant Napear going coast to coast all the way to Washington, D.C. on Fox Sports Sacramento.
You've been saying you're going to pay better attention to your home's honeydews. Check one off your list right now by calling Gabrud Services to schedule a 12-point inspection of your home's electrical system. The safe rule of thumb is every 5 years for an inspection. If it's been 5 years or more, call Gabrud's now. A qualified technician will provide a thorough inspection of the electrical system to ensure it's safe or alert you to potential problems. At Gabrud's, electrical work is all we do. We are the area's recognized experts for anything electrical, and our number one priority is ensuring your home and family are safe. You've been saying you'll pay better attention to your home. Stop saying it. Make the call to Gabrud's. Talk with a real person and schedule your 12-point inspection today. Gabrud's, locally owned for more than 30 years. G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabrud's, G-U-B-R-U-D-S, Gabrud's.com.
Tired of the same old routine? Need a place where the beer flows and the good times roll? Then head to Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, 1833 Fulton Avenue. Family owned and operated, so you know you'll feel right at home. Catch all your favorite games on 18 big screens while enjoying amazing food. And with 28 beers on tap, you're sure to find something you love. And don't miss everyday happy hour from 3 to 7 and again from 10 till close. Looking for more than just the game? Trivia Tuesday starts at 7 p.m. And there's Mario Kart and bingo nights for even more fun, too. There's always a blast happening at Fieldhouse. Whether you're looking for a place to watch the game, grab a bite with the family, or just unwind with friends, Fieldhouse is the place to be. Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, 1833 Fulton Avenue. Bring it to the house.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
Don't forget the Kings and the Warriors postgame show tonight. YouTube and X will be on right after the game as the Kings are in San Francisco to take on Golden State. Ronald, we really haven't talked that much about this game. Any way the Kings can win this game tonight? I don't see it, but what are your thoughts on the matchups?
Yeah, I actually do think the Kings have a route to victory tonight. They've got to make their threes, number one, and number two, they've got to take advantage of the paint. The Warriors are the worst team in the NBA in points in the paint. The Kings need to limit second opportunities by them. And I think Doug needs to roll that big lineup out there. My question to you is, who the heck's going to be guarding Jimmy Butler?
Yeah, well, first of all, as far as your first key, I don't see that happening. Russell Westbrook's been shooting the ball horribly, and one of your top three-point shooters, Malik Monk, doesn't play enough, and your other really good three-point shooter plays, inconsistent minutes in Keon Ellis. So that would mean Zach LaVine's going to have to make a lot of his shots, which he can, and DeMar DeRozan, without Murray, without Sabonis, we understand the story. I don't see the three-point shooting being good enough tonight to beat Golden State because they will make threes. That's what they do. And then they have a guy by the name of Steph Curry. Have you heard of him?
Is he related to Del Curry?
He is related to Del Curry. So who's going to stop him? I mean, you can say all you want about who's going to guard Jimmy Butler. Who's going to guard Steph Curry?
Keon Ellis.
He's got to be on the floor to do that.
He does, but in fact, that is one of the funnest matchups to watch of the season, because Keon's one of those players that has the ability he's like a cat. He might
then start
fall,
him.
But then I don't disagree with you. That's exactly what I would do.
I would too, because if you bring him in off the bench, then, Curry will be coming off the floor in a couple of minutes. So if you really feel that way, and I don't disagree with you at all, then you start him.
Is it going to be a Malik Monk night?
Nope. Why would I think they're going to put Malik Monk in the game when he's buried? But he could also play 30 minutes tonight, and nothing would surprise me with the coaching of this team, because nothing makes sense. The rotations don't make sense. And the fourth quarter lineup with the game close doesn't make sense. As you've pointed out on numerous occasions, things are going well, and then he takes what's going well off the floor and goes back with Schroeder, LaVine, and Westbrook, and it just doesn't work.
Schroeder, Westbrook, and DeMar.
DeRozan.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't mind LaVine being out there. That's not a problem at all.
No, I agree with you. I meant DeMar. You're exactly right. So, again, I keep saying there's no rhyme or reason of what's going on.
No, Coach did say yesterday at practice, though, that we would see Malik. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to see him tonight, but it's still up for interpretation.
There's nothing that Doug says that seems, I shouldn't say nothing. That's incorrect. Let me back that up. There are too many things that Doug talks about that don't happen on the court during the game.
Yes, I would agree with you. I thought he gave me a very candid answer yesterday when I asked about Russell and Schroeder being on the floor in the closing minutes. He acknowledged, you might want shooting out there. Yeah, you might want this, but if there's a play where we need to get the ball, I know those two are going to do whatever it takes to get it. Loose ball.
So Keon Ellis win it. Malik Monk win it.
I know.
I don't know about you, but when I see those guys on the floor, they compete their butts off.
They do. And
didn't Malik make a great play out of bounds to save a game about 2 or 3 weeks ago? That was a key play in overtime on the baseline. right? Made
Incredible
a tremendous play to save it, right? So, again, what Doug says is true about those two individuals, but it doesn't preclude the other players from doing the same thing, and they're not on the floor, and they should be on the floor when they're not on the floor, and that doesn't add up to me.
Yeah, and that's the other side of the coin. You don't know if Neat Clifford can do it because he hasn't been given the opportunity. You don't know if Devin Carter can do it. You don't know if Max Reynaud can do it. So
here's what I do know. The guys that are doing it are losing every night. That's what I do know.
It's a great point.
I don't know if the other guys can do it, but here's what I do know. The guys that are on the floor trying to do it can't do it because they lose every night, and they have the second or third worst record in the entire league. What are they? I can't even add up anymore. What are they, 8-28?
8-28.
Okay.
Worst net rating as well by, I believe,
by
at
a
least
country
a point.
mile.
No, it's a 1.5 now. The Wizards are in double digits.
Well, 1.5 is substantial. I mean, that's a lot.
No,
That's not a little. That's a lot.
I get it. The Wizards are at 10.7. The Kings are at 11.7. So 1 point.
All right, so it's 1. That's a lot. That's not a little, by the way. That's a lot.
Yeah, that's not just like if the Wizards win by 1 more point tonight, it changes.
Right.
No.
Right. I mean, like if you look at the standings and you look at the net rating, if you changed everyone's net rating and if you gave them a positive of an additional 1, look at how that would change the borderline teams in the league. It would put them right up into like it would move them up a couple of spots in the postseason. So 1 point is huge.
Yep. No, it's a great point. You got 2 teams right now in the 9-10 that are both in negative, Portland and Memphis.
Absolutely. So again, you talk about this and I talk about that because I think it is so important. But for instance, okay, if you talk about in the West, all right, if you took the Golden State Warriors and the Phoenix Suns or any of these other teams and give them an additional point, I mean, it would make a huge difference. I mean, it's if you gave Memphis, again, it's true of both conferences. So here's the point we're trying to make, and I don't want to go off into the analytics, is that Doug can talk about those guys competing, and I don't disagree with him. But the other players that aren't playing, and in my opinion, I'm not coaching a team that would be better off being on the floor because of their talents that you could utilize in a more favorable fashion. They compete just as hard as those guys do, and they're not playing.
Yeah.
Have we ever had a game where we've gone on the postgame show and talked about Keon Ellis or Malik Monk not competing? Have we ever mentioned that even one time?
We've mentioned they've had bad. Well, I'm going to separate the two. Malik lately has not gotten enough minutes to really make a judgment on whether or not he played well or competed. But
not playing well, competing.
Yes. Keon Ellis can have a bad game, but he always competes.
There's a big difference between competing and playing well. Russell Westbrook has been playing terribly. He competes his butt off every night, but he has been playing horribly. He's killed the Kings down the stretch. Let's just call it the way it is.
Well, he's killed them at the start of the games, too. Now, the last few games have been better with the scoring, but still not to par with what you need from that starting unit. And it all begins there because that little, I'm Russell Westbrook, and no disrespect, that's just how he's wired. But teams are giving him teams are giving him the shot every time up the court, Grant. He's got to not even look at that shot and just move the ball.
He shouldn't be on the floor at the end of the games. He shouldn't be on the floor.
See, this is funny that you bring it up because Dennis Schroeder is playing much better than him right now. But Dennis Schroeder is also playing really well in making that second unit play well together. And if it continues, I wonder if we will see a flip-flop, and I wonder how that would affect the second unit as well.
All right, if you want to comment on this, 916-779-0929. College football going on right now. We've talked about the Indiana Hoosiers leading by the score of 14-7. It all boils down to, like, if you are going to talk about those two players on the floor and you love the way they compete, I'm fine with that. But are you then saying in the same breath that you don't like the way your other players compete?
No, not necessarily. You're just saying those two have a track record of doing it exceptionally well. You can compete, but those two are above well in that area. And he's not wrong sometimes, but I feel like those moments are fewer and far in between. And maybe that's only because the Kings have 8 wins.
When's the last time we did a post-game show where we were talking about Russell Westbrook playing very well at the end of a game?
Can't remember.
Well, you just answered the question.
Yeah, look, I said this on the Kings court earlier. What I said was, look tonight, and I'm glad I'm saying this to the broader audience, when the 3-minute mark, the 4-minute mark hits, look between the 3 and 4 minute mark of where Russ's numbers are at. If he has shot more threes than anybody else, if his assists aren't at least 2 over his turnovers, it usually does not get going. You need to turn somewhere else. That's where you turn somewhere else, or you taper off just a little bit of those minutes because he doesn't stop shooting the threes after that. That's when you and I, how many times have we come on and said, man, Westbrook shot 12 threes tonight?
I know. Yep. 916-779-0929. Hey, don't forget our NFL playoff picks are coming up. We are both coming off 3-1 weeks, thanks to our sons, Liam, Ryan's son, my youngest son, Chase, going 3-1 last week. I'm taking over this week because it's the postseason, and I will sink or swim based on Mr. Napear. But you are still using Liam's picks, correct?
Yeah, I vowed to do it through the rest of the season.
It's a very smart move on your part, by the way.
Absolutely. The kid knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
But he can't
Unlike
tell
Dad,
you.
Huh?
Yeah, but he couldn't tell you what NFL stands for.
That's okay. Hey, listen,
about.
They don't ask how. It's like in golf. They just ask, what's your score? They don't ask how you got to your score, just how many, right?
That's so true. Well played.
That's all that matters, buddy.
Golf clap.
Thank you. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. But we're going to pick all of the games this weekend. And you can do the same. Rhino will put them up on our X platform. You have to use the DraftKings NFL sports odds, so we all have to be using the same numbers. So keep that in mind. That's coming up next. Yes, our NFL playoff picks to wrap up the week right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
The team at Downtown Ford Sacramento wishes you a phenomenal 2026. And what better way to ring in the new year than to treat yourself to a new or pre-owned Ford car or truck? See, the new year means we got to get rid of all these 2025 vehicles to make room for the new 2026 ones. So now's the time to get a crazy deal on a 2025 Ford that is still brand new. And we've got an awesome finance team here, always ready to help you get into the vehicle you want. And look, if you've had your eye on a Ford car or truck, but you're not yet ready to get into a brand new one just yet, odds are we've got a gently used version of that same car or truck right here on site for substantially less. Once you got your Ford, our top-notch service department will keep it running like it's brand new for as long as you own it. With more than 100 years of service to Sacramento, we're Downtown Ford on Howe Avenue next to the How About Arden Shopping Center. DowntownFordSacramento.com.
Okay, we are running a car drive right now to help veterans all across America. So if you have an old car, truck, or van, even a motorcycle or an RV sitting around, you can right now give it away and help the vets. They really need your help. And your car will help support the vets and their families. And guess What, you even get a tax donation. Plus, we'll even come and pick up your car for free. And all you've got to do is pick up your phone right now and make a free call. It is the perfect time to do something good for the vets. Give back to the vets right now for all they've done for this country. And your old car can really help them. So call the Veterans Car Donation Program right now for free pickup of your vehicle. Help the vets and help your taxes at the same time. Call right now.
800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. That's 800-598-0539.
Call the good dudes at Gebruds. G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Homeowners, if you have an electrical project you need done, then you need the good dudes at Gebruds. Family owned and operated for 30 years, Jay Gebrude and his team are the area's recognized experts for everything electrical, from the very basic like repairs, lighting upgrades, and whole house fans, to the biggies, panel replacements, EV stations, and backup generators. Gebrude's does it all and does it right the first time. They're actually the guys their competition recommends. Gebrude's, expert 5-star service and always transparent, honest prices and solutions. Say goodbye to your electrical issues. Visit Gebrudes.com or call 24/7 and speak with a real live person. Gebrudes, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gebruds. G-U-B-R-U-D-S. Gebruds.com.
The games really mean something now. The National Football League postseason, 6 games, wild card weekend. We are both coming off 3-1 weeks. You've got the Rams and the Panthers and the Packers and the Bears tomorrow. Bills, Jaguars, 49ers, Eagles, Chargers, Patriots Sunday, and the Monday game, Houston at Pittsburgh. So, Ryan, let's stay in order. And why don't we start with the Rams and the Panthers, where the Panthers are getting 10.5 points. They've already beat the Rams once this year. They're at home getting 10.5 points. What says Liam?
Well, the Rams smacked them at home, the Panthers smacked them at home last time. A lot of points. The Rams, many believe, are the most complete football team in the NFL, as does Daddy. But Daddy doesn't get to choose. Liam, who's it going to be? You know what we got to do?
What?
Here's what we got to do. This is going to take some production because we're running music at the same time. Liam, who is it going to be?
Lambs.
All right. I'm going with the Panthers. I'm going to take the 10.5. Not to win the game, Rhino. I don't think they're going to win the game, but that's a lot of points in the playoffs for a team at home. I'll take the 10.5, even though I think the Rams will win the game. But I could see it being a backside cover, like, end of the game, like that. I'll take the Panthers. I like the 10.5 points. So you're taking the Rams. Liam's taking the Rams. I'm taking the Panthers.
All right. Shall we move on to the Packers at the Bears?
Yes, we should.
All right.
Your turn.
Packers and the Bears. Liam, who you taking, buddy? Are we going to keep it buoyant? Liam says
Bells.
Okay. He's taking the Bears at home. Again, the Bears are getting 1.5. I'm going to take the Bears too. I think that Micah Parsons' absence, there's a lot of talk about the coaching situation in Green Bay. It's the first playoff game for Caleb Williams. He's got a lot to prove because he had a very good regular season. I like how Ben Johnson has been able to win games down the stretch. So I'm going to take the Bears too. We're on the same page there. So now we move on to Sunday. And we start with the Buffalo Bills and the Jacksonville Jaguars, where the Bills are getting 1.5 points as the road team. You're up, Liam.
Buffalo. Oops, sorry. We're doing a lot of production here. Here we go.
That's all right. Buffalo, Jacksonville. Who do you got?
We are going with
Bills.
All right. I'm going to take the Jaguars at home, -1.5. The Bills, to me, have been a model of inconsistency. I know they have Josh Allen. I think this game will be close, but ultimately I don't think the defense of Buffalo can hold up against a hot quarterback in Trevor Lawrence. I'm going to take the Jacksonville Jaguars -1.5 to advance in the NFL playoffs.
So ends the era in Buffalo of Mr. McDermott?
Could very well be.
All right.
Could very well be.
All right.
We now move on to the game of interest in this area in the city of brotherly love. Again, the injury reports are so important. Trent Williams limited yesterday, limited today. Said he expects to be on the field. No Ricky Pearsall in practice at all this week, so I would say it's unlikely that he'll play. We don't know about Lane Johnson yet, questionable right tackle of the Eagles. Eagles not great against the run, but they basically have had a week off because Nick Sirianni did not play anybody on Sunday against Washington, so they're well-rested. I don't think the Niners defense is going to be able to hold up. I don't think they're going to be able to get off the field. So it's a 6-point game. But you know what? I'm going to give the 6. I'm taking the Philadelphia Eagles at home -6 to beat the 49ers.
This is the only pick that I listen to, and listen for the nuance here. Liam is going with the
Eagles.
He likes the Eagles too.
Did you hear because Mommy, and thank you, by the way, to my wife, Jen, listen, when she says 49ers, he goes,
Eagles.
I love it. All right, so we both are on the Philadelphia Eagles, which gets us to the Chargers and the Patriots in Foxborough. Sunday night, Chargers are +3.5. What does Liam say?
Chargers.
Well, Liam's going to go with the...
He's going upset special with Dave and Elk Grove.
Yeah. I'm going to go New England here. I like this season. I think Mike Vrabel... It makes me a little nervous going against Jim Harbaugh in a game of this magnitude because these are normally close games, and I'm not crazy about the 3.5. Basically, that's a home number, right? We'll give you 3 because that extra half point to me worries me a little bit because I could see this being a field goal game. But I just really have enjoyed Drake May and the Patriots. I'm going to give the 3.5, and I'm going to take the New England Patriots.
I think it's a solid pick, but what do I know? Fade me. All right, we got one more. Tell us. You there?
I'm here.
Yeah, you want to call out?
Oh, I thought you were getting ready. Oh, so who did Liam take in that game?
He has the
Chargers.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, my bad. All right, so dead air is not great on the radio. So we get to what was the name of our great caller from DC again, please?
That would be Raheel.
All right, Raheel. You're not going to like this, Raheel, because I think this is the lock of the weekend. Even though I'm not going to call it a lock because I don't believe in locks, but if I had to use that term, this is the game I like the most, and that's the Houston Texans -3. I'll give you the 3. I think their defense is going to suffocate Pittsburgh. So I'm sorry to our listeners in D.C., particularly the great Aaron Rodgers fan and the great Pittsburgh Steelers supporter. I'm taking Houston -3 points in this game.
Liam, I'm not sure you want to get on the wrong side of Raheel. Let's see where you go.
Texans.
Well, Raheel, we're coming at you, Raheel, and we are both taking the Houston Texans. So there you have it. So my picks are the Panthers +10.5, the Bears +1.5, the Jaguars -1.5, the Eagles -6, the Patriots -3.5, and the Houston Texans -3. Do you understand, Stan Rhino, that in this 6-game stint that we just did, I'm taking every home team except the Steelers.
Very interesting. I wonder what the history looks like with that.
The history would be short because we haven't had this many games on Wild Card Weekend until recently.
Very true. And Liam is taking
Rams, Bells, Bills, Texans, Chargers, Eagles.
There you go.
I love it. By the way, Indiana is on top 21-7 now with 8:15 left in the first half.
Isn't it ironic that Oregon wore regular uniforms?
Yes,
tonight?
it is. Yes, it is. Thankfully. All right, if I asked you for your lock of the week, not necessarily who you think is going to win, but if I said, okay, Rhino, you know what? Let's have some fun here. We did our picks, but we have 6 games. What's the lock of the week?
Texans.
Wow. Texans.
I'm
I
with you
agree.
there.
Yeah.
That defense is too good. That Baltimore defense is not good. And look at that game last week.
I know. Now, here is my lock without points. The Rams. I don't see the Rams losing this game. I just don't. I know they lost earlier in the year, but I don't see it.
Okay. I'm going to okay, do you have an upset? Well, I guess you've picked
Yes.
Okay.
No, but if I were going to pick an upset, it would be the Chargers over the Patriots.
Wow. That surprises me. If I'm going to pick
I'll tell you why. Let me finish real quick and then I'll let you go. Drake May's first game of this magnitude, we don't know. Young team, not a lot of playoffs. Jim Harbaugh's track record in big games. Herbert been down this road before. That's why.
All right. I know they're the favorites. I think the Bills. They're on the road.
Yep.
They've got their back against the wall. I almost feel like that one's going to be a little bit of a lock too. But yes, the Bills.
A lock?
Yeah. The Bills.
So
move
you're
on.
not sold on how well Liam Cohen in Jacksonville and Trevor Lawrence has done, huh?
Not sold on the winning streak. You
What?
kind of laid it out. It's been they have one signature win. If that signature win would have been over the Patriots and not the Broncos, no offense, Cody, I would be
What
more
about
sold.
the 49ers winning and win there and beat San Francisco in San Francisco?
Yeah, it doesn't do a ton for me. I know, what was it, 14 that they won by in that one?
I mean, they went in there and beat them.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have the drop. I just really, and you know what? I feel it in my guts. I think the Niners are going to knock off the Eagles. I can't give you a logical reason.
Okay.
I just really do. It's just been that kind of year in football. Everything should have gone against the Niners. It still is, but they're winning with the exception of Seattle. I think the Niners are going to have a divisional game.
Well, I think the only way they win this game, they're going to have to be a plus in the turnover margin because defensively, there's nothing I've seen from the 49ers defense the last 3 weeks that would give me any confidence if I'm a San Francisco fan that they're going to be able to stop Philadelphia. If you can't stop Indianapolis, you can't stop the Bears, and you can't get off the field against Seattle, why would I think you're going to get off the field against Philadelphia and Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Saquon Barkley, Dallas Goedert? Why are you going to get off the field against them?
It all starts with who can run the ball more effectively.
Yes.
That is the key to me for this game. You can keep the other team's offense off the field, you're winning.
I want the ball first in this game if I'm Philly, and I want the ball first if I'm San Francisco. I really do. I want it.
I love how you explained that earlier this week. Just take it down if you're the Niners. You got to cash it in. Can't be one of those Seahawks things where you do something stupid at the goal line. Put the pressure on them.
Nope. I think you need to dictate the way this game's going to go with your offense because I think going into the game, Kyle Shanahan knows what his advantage is. Now, I say that without knowing whether Trent Williams and Ricky Pearsall, but I think he feels with an Eagles team that has not been good against the rush the last 6 games, giving up about 140 yards on the ground. He's got McCaffrey. He's got a very good tight end, even though the Eagles are very good at taking the opposing tight end out, but he's a very good run blocker. I think you're going to see 2 tight ends. You got Juszczyk with his lead blocking at fullback. That is going to be the game plan for Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers. And don't discount Purdy and his running ability.
Amen. Well, I'm so glad that you said that. Well done.
Now, on the other side, don't discount Jalen Hurts and his ability to make big plays with his legs.
Yeah, and they've got the tush push.
Yep. Now, let's hope that it's called accurately.
You just took it out of my mouth. Yes. Can you imagine that?
Well, it seems like they have a false start every time that's not called.
I know. And it's a point of emphasis, and they still miss it.
Yeah, which is hard for me to understand. Yeah.
I will say this about the Niners.
Yep.
Their DBs have been tackling really well in open field.
They have. Yep.
For what it's worth.
I just think the week of extra rest for Philly, which is really what they had for all intents and purposes, the Niners' injury situation at key positions, I'm sorry, I don't see it. I don't see it. I think defensively, they're not going to be I think when we come back on Monday and talk about time of possession, I think it's going to be a significant advantage for the Philadelphia Eagles.
It's going to be a long day then for the 49ers.
Yep.
Take us to this wonderful weekend of football, buddy.
Yeah, well, it's going on right now with 5 minutes left to go in the first half. Indiana leading Oregon 21-7, trying to advance to the championship game against the Miami Hurricanes. We just went through the schedule tomorrow. 2 games tomorrow, 3 games on Sunday, and then the Texans and the Steelers. I'm either going to have a very unpleasant phone call from the East Coast on Tuesday shortly after 3 o'clock Pacific, or I'm going to be like, man, I can't wait to get that call from Washington, D.C. on Tuesday early on in the show. So I've got that writing. Now I've got a little, not money, just bragging rights on the line. So we've got all of that. Don't forget tonight, after the Kings and the Warriors, post-game show, Rhino, Jerry, and myself, the Kings and the Golden State Warriors tonight will be on roughly 9:15, 9:30 tonight over on YouTube and X. We got a huge weekend because the Kings also would play on Sunday. And, of course, all of the NFL. I'm really looking forward to the Packers and the Bears. I think that's going to be a very close game. I think when the fourth quarter begins and you get down to the 5 minutes mark, I would not be surprised if that's a tied game or within a field goal game. I think it's going to be that close. But I love the NFL playoffs. I know you do as well, and I can't wait for that. You mix in a little NBA basketball. Will there be any more trades? We had the big trade this week with Trae Young going to the Wizards, where he probably won't even play. I think that trade is very good for Atlanta. I think it makes them better. I think it gives them a brighter future. I think the players in that locker room are fairly happy. So I like that trade for the Atlanta Hawks. The question is, as we move closer to the 5th, will we have to wait until the 4th or the 5th of February to see the Kings make moves? Or will we have a move that is made here coming up in the next several days? Will it involve Jonathan Kuminga, who we'll see tomorrow night for the Golden State Warriors? Will it involve Keon Ellis and Malik Monk, or a DeRozan or a Levine or someone else not mentioned? What's going to happen here in the next couple of weeks? It's going to be a fun month as we roll the calendar. We're already in week 2 of January in the new year, which is hard to believe that we're already rolling on. What is it, the 9th already? Like, what's happened to the time? Why didn't we just celebrate New Year's Eve, for crying out loud? But here we are on a Friday talking college football semifinals, talking the NFL playoffs, and then we're about a month away from all being depressed where we don't have any football to watch. So you better enjoy each and every play that is currently going on, Rhino.
Yes, no doubt. Savor it.
Watch it all.
Rewind it. Watch it again after tonight.
Absolutely. Watch. My thanks to all of the folks that have chimed in via the text line, your phone calls. Wrapping up a really fun week here on the Grant Napear Show. Again, thank you for your support. I hope you can join us tonight on the post-game show after the Kings and the Golden State Warriors play. Always fun to see the Kings and the Warriors. I don't know if the game will be competitive or not, but you know what? Time will tell. All right? So, for Rhino, Grant Napear, Indiana rolling, scoring again. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks for listening to Fox Sports Sacramento. Bye-bye.
Looking for the perfect spot to watch the game and enjoy amazing food and drinks? Look no further than Fieldhouse American Sports Pub.